Who's ready for the Dirt Life Show?
Yeah, buddy. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Thank you so much for joining us on this fabulous Monday night. We are episode 75 of the Dirt Life Show. Tonight we have a fantastic show for you guys. As you can tell, we are in a special location in Temecula, California. Our featured guest tonight is none other than stuntman extraordinaire, professional short course racer. Man, he's even done some crazy stuff like surfing in the sky. We can't wait to get into his backstory coming all the way from South Africa. Welcome, Adrian Cenni, to the show.
Oh, thank you. That was a really nice intro.
Hey, man, I do my homework, right? So thank you very much for having us at your shop here in Temecula, dude. It's cool.
Yeah, thanks for coming out. It's very nice to have you be able to see a little bit about the truck and what's going on here.
Yeah, some behind-the-scenes action.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool. Like, you guys always see, I say it on the show all the time. It's really cool when you get to see the guys at the races and you get to see them racing and stuff. But there's really no way for us to actually get behind the scenes and really get to know all these drivers and all these professional athletes. And tonight we got a stuntman with us. So it's going to be really cool to get into Adrian's story. I can't wait to break loose some of these stories with you guys. Let's get through some of the intermediary stuff. We're going to just thank our sponsors. Well, actually, you know what? We're going to thank you guys first. You guys are the awesome ones that are supporting us. We already got a bunch of people logging in. We definitely want you guys to comment in and ask questions. Some of these subjects are going to get really entertaining. So anytime you guys have any questions or even comments about it, telling him he's freaking nuts, you can comment in and let us know how you guys feel about some of the stuff that he's done. Please. Always join us anytime you want on iTunes, Spotify, any of the podcast networks. We're available and any of those, even on the new Amazon stuff. You can check us out anytime. When you're watching the live shows, you can always comment in and hang out with us. We really, really enjoy it. And you can always check us out on social media at The Dirt Life Show on Instagram is the best way to get a hold of us. A few people actually messaged in and had some comments and questions for Adrian, so we're going to get to those tonight as well. But thank you very much to our sponsors. Thank you to the guys over at KMC Wheels. They've had our back since day one, and they've been doing a very, very good job supporting this show and giving us access to some of the awesome stuff that they have in Southern California. So it's really helping us grow. So thank you to Ryan and everybody over at KMC Wheels. Thank you very much to Travis Zollinger and all the guys at Zollinger Racing Products. Those guys make fantastic UTV products. One of the things we're going to talk about is Adrian's actually going to be racing a UTV, and he's going to probably need to use some awesome products similar to the ones that Zollinger makes. And we would like to thank Shock Therapy. Those guys are doing an amazing job with all your tuning needs. You can use the code DIRTLIFE at shocktherapist.com. And, man, you save a whole bunch of money. Steering racks they make, sway bar links, anything that they make, you can save a whole bunch of money. Tell them that the Dirt Life sent you. Thank you very much to the guys over at Solder Weld. They've been behind us since day one. Make a fantastic off-road repair kit that you can repair your race or your ride anytime by bonding metal on the trail. Thank you very much to the guys over at Cryo Heat. If you didn't see our social media last week, we went over to Josh's shop in Oceanside, California. Had a whole bunch of fun with those guys, seeing all of the machines that they use and all the processes that they use to lighten up Polaris RZR Pro XP transmissions and all kinds of rad stuff, man. It's super cool, all the stuff that they have going on there. And last but not least, EFX Tires. Thank you very much to those guys. We're going to have Ryan Gaitis from EFX joining us next week on the show for the guys of Dune and Destroy. So we're going to have a little bit of off racing break weekend or a Monday show. Thank you guys very much. We'll see if we can get some of these comments coming in real quick. We can do a little refresh, and we'll get into Adrian's story a little bit. All the way from South Africa, huh? When did you move to the United States?
When I was 14, I came with my parents.
They moved out here, huh?
Yeah, the whole family moved. Small family, just me, my brother, my parents. And there's two boys in the family at the time. And in Africa, there was, in South Africa, there was mandatory army service. And there was a war going on too. And so my father, he's Italian, so he looked at the situation. He's like, well, I don't want my son's going to war right now.
Right.
So it was going to be Australia or America, and we ended up coming to America.
I wonder what the reason was, because Australia's a nice place too.
Australia's really nice, good surf, and South Africa is really good surfing too. So
yeah,
it was a tough call, but it worked out well.
Yeah, absolutely. That's pretty cool that you ended up down here too. It's always funny, like you and I talked a little bit about it a few days ago. what life throws at you, right? And the way that your path, like I'm a huge believer in the butterfly effect. Every decision leads to another decision or equal and opposite reaction kind of thing. And it's cool to see that all of those decisions and all of those things that happened in your life led you to the off-road scene. And even more so, some of the stunts and things like that we'll talk about.
Yeah. I'm a believer in that you actually plan your life before you have it.
Really?
Yes. And that you choose your parents, actually.
Really?
Yep.
Whoa,
and,
I like this.
Yeah, and I know it's weird to think about, especially some people think, oh, there's no way in hell I would have chosen my parents or whatever. But nope. As a matter of fact, I'll take a bet with anybody, and we'll see if I'm right. But I'm pretty sure we get to pick our life before and plan it.
I think that's a really good way to look at things, actually.
Yeah. No, I mean, it's kind of the signs are all pointing in that direction. And talking about ending up racing at Crandon and racing in the Midwest in off-road racing. And I was in high school there, and I had no clue about in that area, in the Northwoods area. I was in Warsaw, Wisconsin, going to high school.
Yeah.
And then I left, and I went to Europe to try to get into Formula One car racing. Came close, and then back to America. Was in New York, and then all roads lead back to Wisconsin for me.
Really?
And then there I am back, in Wisconsin.
That's kind of a funny story.
Yeah, so it's interesting. A very circuitous way of always coming back to the same spot.
I don't think very many people can say roads always lead back to Wisconsin. That is pretty neat, though. So when you're thinking about doing all this stuff, I mean, growing up in South Africa and being 14, you've got a little bit of understanding how life works by that time, right? It's a pretty big move to the United States. Are you thinking, oh, sweet, like I can't wait to get over there? Or are you thinking, wow, my life's turning upside down? It's
a combination. There's the things that you're leaving behind that and also, it was a really good life. And so you're not, but I definitely did not have a nervousness about it. It was interesting, something new. And, the States do a really good job of actually promoting themselves around the world, but through movie, basically Hollywood,
right.
It's kind of, so it does give you an insight into what you're going to be walking into, even though it's not true. It's at least some type of an insight.
Well, and plus you can just look at the differences between where you live and what their Hollywood is showing you, I guess, right?
And yeah, I mean, very often you see people who do move, and they do very well. And I think a big part of why they do well is being able to come from one culture into another, and then being able to see the differences and expand your horizons, and then try to adapt into the new one that you're coming into.
Yeah, I can agree with that and attest to that too. It's like what they always say, that the people that hustle hard are the people that grew up with nothing, kind of thing. So I can totally see that. Well, and you're a little bit different though, because you always think that it's planned, right? You always plan it ahead.
Well, I mean, I think that there's like an outline.
Yeah.
And I don't think all the little details are there, but I think there's like certain crossroads that you're going to be, okay, you're going to be doing this, you're going to be doing that, you're going to be doing this, and how you get there is up for grabs. And there is, of course, free will. But for the most part, you kind of try to have an outline and stick to it as best you can, and end up at those certain points.
When sometimes life throws you in like a really crazy direction too. That's the reason I'm kind of talking about this stuff, is because I want to at least lay a groundwork of understanding how your brain works, because one of our best mutual buddies, Alex Streiler, I had a phone call with him earlier this week, and he gave me a couple little insights and backstory on some of the ways, different ways that you think personally, similar to what we're talking about, and some of the different ways that you act and the execution that you have towards your life. And I think it's phenomenal. Like, I'm a huge believer in making the life that you want, living life to the fullest, right? Mm-hmm. And I think that you are a believer in that, but you're also really big on executing on those things.
Yeah, actually following through on what you say you're going to do is extremely important. I don't know if I had to sum up the way that I think the ideal life is lived, is to try to not have fear, be a part of your decision-making process.
Right.
To the extent possible that you can eliminate fear out of your decision-making process, I think that then you're gonna really be closer to the goals that you are supposed to be doing in your life.
Absolutely. So, and then, we can bring it up now. You guys can see over my right shoulder here, probably on the left side of your guys' screen, we got the Wild Man logo on the toolbox cart right here. But that brings us to an understanding of who you are and living your life to the fullest and executing like you say. One of the topics that Alex Streiler told me to talk to you about was, how do I want to say this? You do stunts, right? But you have to be prepared. Like, stuntmen aren't just guys sitting on the couch eating potato chips, right? You have to be physically fit. You have to be mentally strong. You have to be, like you said, no fear almost.
There's lots of factors, and it's actually running a company, which I've run successful companies, racing, and then also doing stunts is a lot about bringing several factors together. There's a risk analysis, a risk assessment, figuring out what are the odds of something happening. What else is there?
Like if you're planning a 1-year plan to grow the business to a certain level, well, there's risk analysis that goes with that. You have to be on these different milestones and execution points to be able to make it happen, right?
Yep.
It sounds like you would do the same type of structure for any stunt that you're doing.
Yeah, build the team is another thing. So surround yourself with good people. Same thing in a business. Same thing in a stunt. And now, I don't even know if stunt's the right word. So I'm working on this thing. Is probably going to be the biggest thing I'm going to do from a stuntish kind of perspective, which is new freefall technology, falling out of the sky, bouncing off the ground without use of a parachute.
Yeah.
And it's not really a stunt. That's like, it's new technology, but there is a stunt component in it. There's a lot of development.
Yep.
There's innovation, invention.
It's very much like a race team. So that's one of the subjects that I wanted to actually talk about. Why don't we just get into it now? So you kind of just briefed on it, but maybe give us a little bit more detail. The basis of it is you're going to be falling from space in a bubble.
Yeah, pretty much human in a beach ball. That's the concept.
Yeah. So
you whack a beach ball up in the air and it comes down slower than a basketball.
Yep.
So now if you just scale that up and then put yourself in the middle, that's a very rudimentary way of saying it, because it's not a pressurized bubble, but that's kind of the idea, is that the air that you're going to have to push around the bubble is going to slow you down enough that you can land safely on the ground. That's the basic concept.
That is phenomenal to think about it at that basic level, because there's so much more that goes behind that. There's testing, there's, like you said, research and development. There's the stunt component of it, because it's very dangerous to do something like that. I mean, it's probably dangerous to even test it. Like, how do you even go about that? Yeah.
I mean, you start like the first one we started with was you bought a Zorb, which you can buy those, like, I think it's, I don't know.
Oh, when they're messing around going down the hills and stuff?
Exactly, rolling down the hills in like a plastic bubble.
Yeah.
So we bought that, hoisted it up from on a tree and dropped it, and with me inside it or somebody inside it, and then it burst, and you went through and hit the ground underneath you, and then you're like, oh, okay, what can we do to now improve on that? Yeah. And so basically, you just start. It's just trial and error. If you just to start at the low level,
and like Alex said, incremental steps.
Yeah. I mean, it's basically baby steps each step of the way.
You make it sound so simple, though. Like, I know that, well, first of all, I would be skeptical of jumping or dropping in one of those balls onto the ground. Like, well, how hard am I going to hit? Am I going to break my arm, my legs? Like, what's going to happen? And there's so many steps to be able to get through that process before you get into space.
Yeah, it's years to do it, especially when you do it kind of like lowbrow, the way I do it. Like, I'm not claiming to be some crazy scientist, but at the end of the day, it's definitely an engineering feat.
Yeah.
But rather than attempt to figure out equations, would rather get in something go and bounce off the ground, see how much it hurts, and what we can do.
I think that's
to do it different.
A statement beyond your life. Like that's something a motto that you live by wholeheartedly. It's pretty cool though. Like there's a lot of people that would like to live their life like that, but unfortunately they can't execute on it. So kudos to you for doing that.
Yeah.
We had a couple comments come in. Dave from Core and Lucas Staging said, "Hey, miss you, Adrian." Do you remember Dave?
Yes, I do.
Yeah.
Hey, Dave, how you doing?
So
he's a good guy.
Jessiel says hello. Lena, hi from Rimrock. JD Corin, unbelievable footage of Adrian's barrel roll jump. Then to land it, yes, it's totally insane. Great job, man. You guys have no idea how much work went into that, and we're going to talk about it a little later. We may even get Adrian to talk a little bit more about some of the stuff that he has planned in the future, too. Let's just get that out of the way, actually. Let's start talking about the barrel roll, and then we'll go back to kind of some of the stuff that we're talking about right now. So when you do something like prepare to be dropped from space or prepare to be execute something like a barrel roll that nobody's ever done, what's the process of going through the short course racing, understanding how a vehicle works, and then, I mean, that's years of racing, and then all of a sudden you just want to do this stunt?
Yeah, it's definitely the barrel roll is an outgrowth of the potential of what the Pro 4, or I mean an off-road vehicle can do. And it's just, it's something that's inside me, wanting to showcase what these trucks can really do. And I very often feel like we don't get to showcase what they can do. They can really take so much abuse and bounce right back. And so I just sit there and dream at night about what we can do. And it started out, I was supposed to be on the David Letterman show. This was right when I got into off-road racing, and I was supposed to jump on do a ramp and jump up on the back of a bus outside the David Letterman show and roll down these buses on a Pro 4 and then goose off over a taxi and land on the ground and drive away. And then that was all set to go. And then Dale Earnhardt, he died. And so then they said, no, the stunt is off. Yeah. But right from the get-go, the first time I got into these off-road vehicles, all I wanted to do was just try and showcase what they can do, because they're just so exciting and so fun. It's just the extra dimension of flying through the air, landing in a controlled fashion, and being able to accelerate away. It's just it just needs to be, I don't know,
showcased a little bit more.
Yeah, just whatever we can do to really have fun with it and get it out there.
I really like that, because we talked to a lot of people that do dirt bike racing and stuff, and back in the late 90s, early 2000s, people were riding dirt bikes and they were going around the track and they were having a good time. And until one person showed that you could do a stunt on a dirt bike, you could take your hands off, you could take your legs off, you could flip on them. It wasn't even known that freestyle motocross could exist. Same with the guys in Monster Truck, like Todd LeDuc, until they started pushing those boundaries and limits and testing the way that those vehicles, well, I guess, defied the laws of physics, just like you did. It wasn't known, right? And so this is really interesting to me to be able to understand that you're starting to do that with an off-road truck.
Yeah, and it all came from racing. So going racing, because racing, like when I'm sitting on the start line. Like let's say Crandon, for example, sitting on the start line, just looking at that quarter-mile land rush start. Everybody's lined up next to you, and it's going to do a standing start.
Right.
Just so thankful to be there, and just like, wow, this is such a privilege to get to do this. And I mean, there's so much work and effort went into getting to this point for this team, and then the next team next year, and then now we're just going to, and so much money, and we're just going to roll the dice and go and have fun with it. And then it's really exhilarating. It's really a privilege. And then what can we do to then continue that? And I've got these Pro 4 trucks sitting around here that because we have to build a new one or do things like to continue to grow on the racing side. I'm just like, wow, this is we spent just, I don't know, $1 gazillion on this thing. It's just sitting right here. and it can do so much.
Yeah.
So that's started sparking my interest as to what I can do. I mean, I want to take this thing and bounce off the wall and land back on the wheels. I want to do front flips, back flips, all this stuff.
It's pretty crazy. And for anybody that doesn't know what we're talking about, the audio version of the podcast, you may not be able to see the video, but you can always come back and look at it. We'll play a short little 20-second clip here, and then maybe you can give us a little bit of an understanding of what you were thinking at this time. This is the barrel roll live in Baja.
Okay.
Thank you to the Race Desert for doing this. So you go under the bridge and you come over the ramp.
Yep. Okay, so we because you're actually the ramp is actually 2 ramps. So you actually take off on a 4-foot, a pretty steep 4-foot high ramp.
Okay.
And then you get airborne for a split second. Then you hit a very narrow 8-foot tall kicker ramp. And
that kind of upsets the vehicle?
A pivot, yeah. The driver's front wheel hits this kicker ramp, and everything pivots off of that one kicker, that one kicker ramp.
Got it. So
it doesn't seem like it would be that difficult. Well, it's actually very difficult because you just know right off the bat, you know the beating you're about to take. So that's obviously upsetting. And then you're trying to line up on the ramp, and you're approaching it at about 50 miles an hour. And the first ramp, which is the just a regular jump ramp, let's say, is not that hard to hit, even though it's barely a couple inches wider than the tire. So you've got to, and you're lined up you're not centrally lined up. You're lined up like on the driver's side. So you've got to come up at 50 miles an hour and be within a couple of inches to make sure that you go up the ramp. Because when you hit the kicker ramp's only 16, 18 inches wide, and you've got to, at 50 miles an hour, you're airborne flying, and you've got to make sure that your front tire can hit that narrow.
Right, so even if you're off by an eighth of an inch, since you're not in the center of the truck, and you're off by an eighth of an inch, you could be 2 inches off by the time you hit the end of that ramp.
Yeah. So I mean, it's. I don't think it's that tight, but it's certainly tight. I would say within a couple inches. Yeah, if you got to be within a couple inches, otherwise you're screwed.
Man, that's crazy.
And so there's 2 main variables. The main variables are you got to line up and hit that kicker ramp where it needs to be hit. And then the speed's got to be at a certain speed. So we thought, okay, let's take the speed out of it, because I can't sit there and look at the speedometer, what's going on. So we put a GPS auto speed thing in it. Mm-hmm. And unfortunately, it was run off of GPS, satellite GPS. So when we went under the bridge, it actually lost signal.
Oh, so you had to...
Yeah, and so if we're watching that video, so the truck was actually slowing down, and it actually under-rotated on that particular jump.
Wow.
And
did it slow down and then just reburst speed when it came back up? Or
no, just basically it lost signal and started slowing down, but it had enough momentum because the ramp was started. It kind of just started underneath the bridge.
Right.
So basically the roll up the ramp was decelerating.
Wow, that's crazy. And we all know, like coming from off-road and stuff, whenever you're decelerating or accelerating off the top of a jump, it makes the car go up or down.
Yeah. So in this case, I don't know if it was luck or something, because the spin actually came out pretty good.
It did. It looked good. I mean, it looked like the landing was really hard. I don't know how your neck freaking survived that, but
yeah. So there's very few videos out there where we actually show the in-car, because it's totally amateur hour at the Apollo inside there.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah. You get completely knocked out or partially knocked out every time.
That's insane.
And by knocked out, I mean like lights out for, I don't know if it's a 1 second. I don't know what it is, but it's lights out and then lights back on, and then, try to avoid hitting people.
That's crazy.
Yeah. So what was funny was everybody was moving down, and the barriers were there, and we were like, get back, and push everybody back. Everybody kept moving down, thinking like, I've got this completely in hand. I can just land on a handkerchief of ground. Everything's fine. It's totally amateur hour out there. I mean, like it could land and squirt in any direction at any time.
That's what pushes these industries forward, though, is not knowing and being able to push those boundaries.
Yeah, thank goodness, everything went well, and it didn't squirt out of in a different direction. I mean, we kept telling everybody, you got to get back, and everybody just, there was a lot of excitement, and it is super fun, to witness something like that. So it's understandable that it kept just pushing forward, but they were definitely putting way too much confidence in the ability to land and just go dead straight.
I guess they see all these different things online and they think that everything's just okay, right? It's phenomenal that you did that. So let's take a step back real quick and kind of talk about what gave you this drive to move forward so much. I mean, you moved to the United States. That's obviously a huge move in your life, and then you probably have to go through the education system and learn those types of things. But when you're a young kid or a teenager, are you thinking about all of these things and how much drive you have and going into the rest of your life like that?
No. I think being married, or after being married, smashing my head on the ground is easy. But no, I'm just kidding.
Man. So all you married people out there, just know that you could be doing stunts instead of getting in arguments.
No, I think my brother, he said it best, is that I definitely seem to be about the thrill of the ride.
I gotcha.
And I think
your brother older or younger?
Older, older brother.
Okay.
Yeah. So when I was young, I lived on a very steep hill, and did not have a motorized vehicle. My parents would not let me have one. I think my brother he bought a stolen motorcycle, and so I got to ride that once or twice, and that's about
cool.
it. But no, so I had basically a ball racer, which is the steel-wheeled go-kart, and on this very steep hill, and that's all I had to entertain myself, was to go up and down that and just ride. And it took a couple of years, but I figured out how to be able to go all the way from the top and make it to the bottom without crashing, and that was probably where it got ingrained into me to just be about that thrill and problem solving. How do you take a metal wheel and slide it around on asphalt and have it not slide off on a steep hill, because you have to make a turn, so you got to set up and then slide, and then your weight distribution, and then maybe scrub some speed by kicking your ass out and scrubbing speed and then bouncing back. So
all fundamentals of off-road.
Without the jumping part, and that's that's the only bummer, was the no jumping part. But yeah.
Hey, so we got some guys jumping in or chiming in on the comments that are they're definitely different subjects, so we'll jump around a little bit here. But sure. JD Coran said, speaking of Crandon, turn one, how did the conversation go with Scott Douglas after he blamed you for sending him over the wall? I don't know if you can control turn one at Crandon that good, because there's so much commotion in that turn.
So one of the things that maybe from either having so many crashes or from just having a crap memory is I have no recollection of that at all.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, so maybe, maybe
I sent Scott over the wall?
Yeah. Maybe JD, you can ask Scott about that one. Steve, what's up? George? Hey, Steve, how you doing, man? Good to see you from Tucson, Arizona, or Phoenix, Arizona. What's up, fellas? Taco time. Yeah, we didn't get any tacos today, but maybe we'll try to get some tomorrow, Tyrone. All right, so it's still so phenomenal for me to think about the way that first of all, the way that you're living your life, and I don't even know how to say it, the balls that you have to be able to go and pull off stuff like this. Most of us, myself included, actually, people always tell me I'm crazy for going out and getting hurt all the time. I don't like getting hurt, first of all. I'm sure you don't.
Nope.
But I do love that thrill of the moment and the thrill of the ride. Like I can't tell you how much those adrenaline things make me happy. Put a smile on my face. So it seems like when you were little, it kind of started building up and making you understand that those things did make you happy.
Yeah, if I had to analyze myself, I would say there's a combination of a few things going on. One is, like what I've already said, horrible memory. So you forget your mistakes.
Quick to move forward.
you forget all the times you smashed yourself up, and so that's a big help actually, because if you have a good memory of that, that'll hold you back. Having being in really good shape, like being able to just smash yourself and bounce back. So that's something that I've been able to do, which is not easy to do, and most people can't do it. But somehow I've been able to, and I've become fixated on figuring out how to be able to do that, because
So definitely hold that thought, because that's the next subject we're going to get into. But I think that one of the things that I want to take from what you just said is being able to forget what just happened is one of the best traits of any racer. You can't ever dwell on the last corner, right? You have to think about the next corner, and that's literally the way you're living your life. Yeah.
And so there's the upside is that you can be successful because you forgot that you've tried something already 10 times and failed, so you succeed on the 11th time. So that's the upside. The downside is you have fantastic things that happen, and you have no memory of these fantastic things. You wish you could remember that they happened because they were so great. You can't remember squat. I have to rely on video.
Hey, look, so we just got David actually posted the video. I don't know if these guys realize that we may or may not have been breezing over that question just a little bit, but we can go back in the comments and look at it if we want to talk about it later.
I can see, right? That's the video of the crash at Chula Vista, right?
Court Chula Vista, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's not the one he was talking about from Crandon. So
okay,
what was this one?
That one, actually, I'm pretty sure I died in that one. I came back.
Really?
Yeah, because I remember. I've only from the video footage. I actually remember hugging. Like the hood came into the cab somehow, and I put my hand over it and hugged it. And I don't remember any of that stuff. But that was a really hard hit. So if you're looking at hits. What's a bad, ooh, is that a really bad hit? Is the person going to be okay? If there's a rapid change in direction, that's bad.
Yeah, absolutely. Or a sudden stop.
Yeah, that's really bad. So if there is, if you're rolling and dissipating energy, then that's better. Then there's chances are that somebody's going to be okay.
Yeah, they don't ever teach you to. They teach you to stop, drop, and roll, not stop and put your head in the ground.
Yeah, so that I can just see from that. That's that Chula Vista. It landed right above my head, upside down, and it dug, and then it went straight up.
Oh,
so
I think I remember that. Mm. Well, you don't remember it.
No, I don't remember. The only thing what I do remember was being crumpled up into a small ball and then drop kicked down a hallway. And then I just remember struggling to try to get back to the light.
Oh, really?
That's what I remember. I was like,
oh shit!
I was like, wow. I've never been this kicked this far down the road.
You know what? I hope that some people can actually leave comments about this stuff, because I want to have lunch with you or spend some time with you one of these days about what they call near-death experiences or whatever they're called, or because I have some crazy stuff and that's happened in my life as well. So it's hard for other people to be able to understand those things if they haven't been through a situation like what you've been through. So it'd be phenomenal to be able to have an open conversation with you about that stuff. And if you guys out there in internet world, if you guys would like to hear some of that stuff, please comment in and let us know if you guys are interested in talking about that. I think we'll continue on the stunt questions and things like that, though. One of the things that I always thought was phenomenal, the barrel roll. I mean, everybody saw the video that we just watched. You went down to, where was it at?
Ensenada.
Ensenada? Okay.
Yeah, it was at the wash at the start of the Baja 1000.
And so that's, I think, the first time that most people actually saw the stunt being performed.
Yep.
But there was a lot going into it, right?
Yeah, I'd actually... and then from then, I picked up with a promoter down in Mexico, and I've done it again in stadiums in front of
No way, really?
Yeah, 40, 50,000 people. And that's tough to drop right into a stadium and then just hit your marks and with the low lighting and, like I said, one jump into another and not much leeway for anything. And so it's yeah. So, but I've done it multiple times, and to get to the point of doing it at Ensenada in front of that crowd that we saw, I'd probably done it into a practice pit and then to ground. Did it to ground at least twice, but into a practice pit at least a couple dozen times.
And you're saying that every time, maybe some of these ones in the stadiums were a little less jarring, or each one was just as jarring as the first?
Yeah, in the stadiums, they started putting down sea sand to slow the vehicle down because there was basically no run-out room.
Stop, yeah.
But it actually ended up providing a ton of cushioning. So that was really nice from that aspect. But yeah, doing it into a practice pit, that was another innovation because nobody had ever tried a vehicle practice pit before.
Right. Yeah, like a foam pit or whatever it's called.
Yeah, it can't be a foam pit. In this case, it's a tire pit.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah. If it's a foam pit, I mean, it's a 4,500 pound vehicle.
Right, it's going to go right through it.
It's going to go way down.
Makes sense.
It's not super feasible. So tires, on the other hand, actually it does work. It was very strange, and we didn't know if it was going to work until we tried it. And the only way to try it is to get it and go and try it.
Man, another innovation, but a ballsy one, that's for sure. We had George Egan comment in saying he had a near-death experience once, but it was nowhere near as cool. He just had his appendix burst for 3 days. Hey, man, you got to watch out for those things. Appendixes are gnarly. And Cody Sanders, hey, buddy. So I still think it's phenomenal that you're doing all this stuff. I would like to go back a little bit to what you're talking about living life to the fullest, staying fit to make sure that you can live life to the fullest when you go out and execute these types of stunts. What's like a week in the life of Adrian like? Are you eating healthy? Are you working out all the time? Are you a cardio guy? Like, what's that kind of stuff?
Yeah. I mean, all those things, it's probably the idea of if when you're exercising, it's about intensity. Like, you don't have to exercise that long. It just got to be intense.
Right.
So I think, and that's, what I think what your body really needs is intensity. With regards to lifting weights, I really like doing the leg sled, where you put a ton of weight on the sled, and then that kind of mimics when you have a crash in a car and you've got your seat belts.
Oh, because you're pushing yourself?
Well, no, what happens is you hunker down. Like, I get the total death grip on the steering wheel, and I've actually ripped steering wheels completely off the mount.
Yeah.
Metal steering just tore like tissue paper from the hits. Anyway, I've got this death grip going, but you all the wind gets knocked out of you.
Right.
You're holding on, and then it's just like impact and pressure. And the same, like if you can put, like, let's say you can put 10 plates on the leg sled, so that's like 1,000 pounds, and then try to push that with your legs. And if you can do that, that's a lot of pressure on your body, and your body freaks out. It's like, wow, I really need to be ready the next time that's going to happen.
Yep.
So again, it's like, so when it comes to weights, it's like the weight. If you put the heavy weight on, then that simulates intensity. If it's cardio, it's intense. It's like, basically it comes down to intensity. With regards to food, I'm just very picky. Like, I'll eat junk and everything else, but I just always look for good quality.
Yeah.
So I don't know if that's really helpful. Like, I don't count calories, I don't eat any of that stuff. It's just very picky, and just everything should look, feel, taste, smell right.
The way that you want, yeah.
Yeah, the way that it should be, and everything should be ripe, not unripe. I mean, just the little things. I guess that just.
Well, I think that goes pretty far. I mean, like, if you're talking about picking a berry from a tree, you're not going to pick the shitty one, right? You're going to pick the good one.
Always.
Yeah. So,
yeah.
Man, it's so cool for me to be able to think about the way that you live, because I do a very similar thing. I mean, I'm not quite as intense on the workouts and stuff like that. I really enjoy cardio. That's why I do cardio. And I like being out for long durations of time. So I'll road cycle for, I don't know, let's just say 50 miles or whatever it is. And I'll have a fantastic time doing all that stuff. But hearing you and the way that your life goes, and the intensity portion of it, I don't have that intensity, but there's been a couple times that intensity would have helped me a ton in some of these accidents or some of these falls that I've taken.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I was wondering when I was hearing a little bit about your story that you've taken like multiple severe hits.
Yeah, unfortunately.
And I think when I met, I was like, I wonder if that's like if you had, kind of that was your MO in your life, is that like severe bodily trauma, and then how you incorporate that to basically like to learn what you're going to learn, or to push you forward, or to be your inspiration, or to be your motivation, or whatever.
Yeah, if we're talking about like how you live your life and planning our lives ahead of time, I don't know that some of these things were planned. I think maybe some of it was laid out for me. I just didn't know it was coming. And then, like you have to adapt. And I mean, like we could go on and on for the way that both of us live our lives, but I've had to pivot my life and change it 4 or 5 times. And we're not talking about little ones like changing a job. We're talking about completely changing and uplifting your whole life, right? And those things have made me who I am today. In fact, they made this podcast. One of the injuries made it so I couldn't see or hear anything. All I could do was talk. And so I thought, well, okay, I can't do my current job now. All I'm going to be able to do is talk. Maybe I'll be able to hear one of these days. So I just figured out how to do a podcast and talk.
Wow.
So it's one of those things, and
that's inspirational to hear. I mean, like, think about that for a second. What about if the listener is like, what about if the only thing we can do is talk?
Yeah.
Like, what do we do? Are we going to crawl up in a ball and say fuck it, or are we going to?
I tell you what, I almost did. It was fucking scary.
I can't believe it.
Living blind and deaf. I mean, and I'm not just saying that no people do this, because other people do, but they're more of a man or woman than I am, because I was freaking out living inside my own body. I was ready to like just go bananas. Like I almost couldn't handle it. Like it was to the point that I was going to just burst from the inside kind of thing. So this was a very good outlet for me, similar to the way that doing the stunts and doing these things is an outlet for you, and getting the adrenaline and these types of blood pumping type of things it's so interesting to me that you're keeping up your body and you're training it to do these specific things.
Yeah, it's really it's so funny. Like I'm sitting, I spend all my time trying to take care of myself so that I can just go and basically smash myself. I mean, like, and then try to bounce back.
It's freaking crazy, man.
Yeah. Like, take care of yourself really good so then you can go and F yourself up.
Yeah, exactly. Christy, hi, Christy. She said, hey, George, happy Monday, Dirt Life. Yeah, it's an awesome Monday today. Jeff said, George's workout is eating tacos. Hey, I really do enjoy tacos, man.
I love tacos, too.
So what's some of the best tacos that you had? Because you've been down to Ensenada a few times.
Yeah, there's, I don't know what the name of the place is.
The one down by the Estero Beach Hotel?
Right before you make the right.
Yeah.
To go down the road, so off like where you go by the airport, and then you make a right-hand turn to go down the long road. So not the ones where you make the left right at the Estero Beach, but they're on the main road. I like those tacos right there.
Oh, I think I know which one you're talking about. Does it have red on it?
Exactly.
Yeah.
I like that place.
That one's super good.
SoCal Tacos right over here in Marietta, or is it Temecula? I'm not sure. They do a pretty good job too.
Boom. That's where we're going. We're going to have this heart-to-heart life conversation.
Nice.
So I could literally talk about this for days, but I know that we want to talk a little bit more about motorsports and the things that you're going to be doing. Before we get into the full short course racing stuff, because that's very interesting now that the season's starting up again. You also did something that I really didn't know that you even had any ambition to do, and you went and you got hung by a helicopter, and you basically surfed through the clouds. Mm-hmm. So how does that even come about?
Yeah, so I had a buddy who he was doing viral videos, and we connected on a viral video, and I can't remember what it was, and then he had the idea of surfing in the clouds, and I thought it was a good idea. Basically, it's kind of like a dream piece where you're thinking, okay, can we make it so that the clouds actually have some density to them,
right? And
we can simulate it. And as it turns out, putting together that viral video is probably as hard as trying to go out and win a Pro 4 race.
Yeah, I can only imagine. Like, how do you even freaking film that? Because
you need 3 helicopters. We only had 2, and you need actually 3 helicopters because it's kind of ridiculous. And then you need access to like really thick clouds. So we put out that viral piece. We were still probably a good, I don't know, 2-3 weeks away of constant filming before we would have had the piece that we, the video that we really
enough content to be able to put it together.
Yeah, but so we put it together because we ran out of money because it's so expensive to have to constantly have a crew and helicopters ready, and then the clouds are too high, the clouds are too thin,
Right.
the clouds are over there, the clouds are not over here. I mean, it's just there was a lot of stops and starts, so that's an issue. But it's mostly almost like a cinematic piece where you need a director's helicopter. And then the director's helicopter is going to tell the helicopter what level to go up and down as it basically goes on the edge of a cloud. So the camera shot has to be on the edge of the cloud, and the between the camera and the helicopter, they are going to actually doing the work. Similar to doing a barrel roll stunt where you're the driver. All the work you do is actually on the barrel roll is done before the stunt. So when you're doing the stunt, you should just be along for the ride. But obviously that doesn't always happen. The same thing with up in the helicopter, the rider on the snowboard that's snowboarding in the clouds.
You.
Yeah. That you're just really along for the ride, and it's really much more of a director with the relationship, the director helicopter telling the pilot in the tow helicopter up, down,
right,
and
or
then also
swing left, right, kind of thing.
Yeah, and then telling the camera operator, or the shooting helicopter go up and down, because it's what you're trying to do is make it so that the stunt guy is on the edge of the cloud, and it's really hard to do, super hard. And think about it, because once you're in the clouds, the helicopters, they don't know where each other are. Plus, and
it's not like snowboarding where you're actually cutting something. You're just, even though there's a cloud there, you're not doing anything with that cloud. You're not touching it. You're just moving against it.
Well, you're trying to be on the edge of it, to be honest. You actually are trying to be on the edge of it. And the helicopters have to be traveling at a certain speed. Otherwise, it doesn't look at all like you're moving. So you've got to be going, 70, 80 miles an hour. And you're in cloud cover, so you can't see each other. So you need multiple helicopters. You need one helicopter to say something, because the problem is that
it sounds sketchy.
It's very sketchy, because also as the stunt guy, you're like at least a couple hundred feet on a wire below the helicopter and behind, because you're going 70 miles an hour, so you're getting blown, let's say at least one helicopter length back of the tail rotor of the helicopter. So the pilot has no clue where you're at. He's going to have to be told by somebody what's going on. The film helicopter's got to know where you're at. Otherwise, their rotors are going to come up and chop you and chop your feet off. So you need 3 helicopters. It's a lot of money. It's a bitch.
Yeah, it's crazy.
The idea of it is really cool. And if we would have got the shot that we wanted, it would have looked amazing. We got a decent shot. I mean, it was. I'll tell you something interesting about being up there. So you actually do interact with the clouds, and the thing that's really interesting is that the clouds, you can actually taste the clouds.
Really? Because of moisture?
Yeah, you can taste them when you're up there. You're like,
wow,
that's somebody's burning garbage. That's a garbage cloud.
So whatever it grabbed from the atmosphere.
So whatever happened, whatever created that cloud, you can taste it. Like another one, you're like, if you're by the ocean, you're like, that came from the ocean. You can actually taste a little bit of the ocean.
I'm going to try to send positive vibes if I'm ever up in the clouds like that of tacos. Okay, that way we can get some good stuff up there. Yeah. What was the things that got triggered in your head when you were up there? Did you get a cinnamon roll? Did you get trashed? Did you get a tire?
It was hard. I was cold. Because you.
You're probably freezing up there.
You're freezing, and then plus you're hanging basically from your crotch, so it's super uncomfortable. And then to get to the clouds is very often like a 15 or 20 minute helicopter ride at.
Oh, and you're on the wire the whole time?
You're on the wire, and then you're doing 100 miles an hour. Hanging from your crotch, and a snowboard attached to your foot. So by the time you get to the spot,
that doesn't feel good.
You're so spent, and then they're like, "Okay, action!" And then you got to start carving, and actually bringing that snowboard using incredible superhuman gut strength to be able to straighten out. because you have to push that snowboard up against the wind.
That's again goes back to your foundation of intensity training, because most people, when they get cold, their muscles just don't work right. They're not the same. So you have to be able to push through that. So it's super cool that you can do that. Hey, we had a comment come in from Loriana Sargent. She said, how has your near-death experiences changed your life? Or maybe it hasn't. I don't know.
No, it definitely has. Like I'm definitely interested in, why we're here. What's our purpose? And so those near death experiences or death experiences, like I'm pretty sure I had 2 death experiences. The rest I would say are near death. I mean, I've been knocked out for many minutes and several times, and I would consider those just whatever. But I'm talking about a couple experiences where, like, I remember I got drowned, and then I just remember being brought back.
Right.
I think that would be like
when you're past the point of no return kind of thing.
Yeah, like when then you pop back, and then you remember it too, and which is different from like when you get knocked out and then you don't necessarily remember it. You don't remember squat, or like in the other case where I got crumpled up and kicked down a hallway, then I had to fight to come back.
Yeah, those are some pretty vivid memories, right? Like. Yeah. Thinking about that, like, of course, it has a little bit of relevance to the situation that happened to you during that time, but it's crazy for me to think about that, because I don't usually have people that I can talk to about these near-death experiences that I've had either, and it's crazy because, I don't know, nobody understands it, right?
Yeah, I think so. If you ever, what I take from it is not necessarily the experience itself, but the peripheral things that happen during it that make you feel like, ooh, I'm peeking behind the curtains. Mm-hmm. That's kind of like what I look for. And then I use that to maybe make some decisions going forward. And certainly, try to not be fearful. So that's also part of it, is that there is going to be something once we leave this, our physical body. There is going to be something else, and to the extent possible that you can take a peek at those things, you should, in an observational and impartial way, and then apply them.
Well, yeah, and I love that you say it like that. And for maybe somebody that doesn't understand it, it's a learning experience no matter what you do. Even if you stub your toe, right? Take the understanding of stubbing your toe and be like, okay, I'm never going to stub my toe again. I'm going to watch out and be cognizant of my surroundings for the rest of my life, because I know what can happen the next time. Mm-hmm. So,
yeah. And then also part of it, is a lot of people are very averse to pain. And pain sucks. Nobody likes pain.
Yeah.
However, pain is a way to communicate with your body.
Right.
So I really don't. I don't remember the last time I took a painkiller, no matter what, because I want that link, even though it sucks.
Everybody says I'm crazy for thinking that same way.
Oh, you think the same way?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. If I don't have to take medicine, don't.
Yeah. So you don't want to break that link to your body, and pain is a way of communication, just as the body's telling you other things.
Yep.
So.
Well, it's kind of like working out, right? Like if you can't lift it, you're gonna push through it and try to do it. So we had a couple other comments. Jeff said totally made you talk about tacos. Hey, dude, I don't think we could skip a show without talking about tacos. While I read this next comment, because JD Corn is a pretty long comment, but Kyle Ahrensberg says, what's your favorite track and why? I don't know, man. You've raced on some serious cool tracks.
Yeah. Yeah, I'd say the quarry track where I had that huge crash, that was in the core days. That was a really interesting, fun track where we drove with the natural terrain of a quarry.
And it flowed good?
It flowed amazing. So basically you'd go top speed, and then you'd hit this big bang turn, and you didn't use the brake at all. All you did was huck it sideways, and then you would float up a hill and then come back down. And then there was another turn just like that. There was a big old sky drop And then there was an infield section. There's places where you could get around people. So it was a very interesting track for sure. I would say overall, though, as a racer, if you do this a long time, probably the first track that comes to your mind or the track that you prepare for is Crandon.
Yeah, I was going to say that. I mean, that track is legendary, but the track you're talking about was in Chula Vista, right?
In Chula Vista. And then another track, which is...
The Chula Vista track was a little bit before my time, but I've heard probably 5 or 10 people all say the same thing as you. It was so cool.
Yeah, it was a very cool track. It was just like, it just had a, I don't know, je ne sais quoi. I mean, just like this, you can't really put your finger on it, but it just had a lot going on.
And a good feel.
Yeah, it was the natural terrain. It was just something that you don't get. You can't really go and recreate it yourself in your backyard because the scale of it was just too big. Like the hill that you went at full speed and slid up and came back down without touching the brakes was, I don't know how many stories high. Let's say it was at least 4 stories high. So you're going up, 40, maybe 50, 60 feet of elevation, straight up. And then there was a couple of those.
That's so cool.
And then you have a drop off. And again, now you're doing this with a bunch of other drivers. Yeah. So now you're all almost like a choreographed. You're almost like a ballet where you guys are all just sliding up alongside each other. So that's very interesting. But if I have to say like a track that is just nutty, it would be Wheatland.
Yeah, that track was pretty nutty, like because it's so man-made.
Well, the interesting thing at Wheatland is the ridiculous tabletop in the back section.
Yeah, that thing is huge. We were all out as fast as our UTVs would go, and we would barely clip the end of it, man. People were losing it big time.
You could clear that thing in a UTV?
A turbo UTV could grease it. Normally aspirated UTV would barely be getting the front wheels over it. But it was as fast as your UTV could go around that Daytona turn and down. And if you slid up just that Daytona turn a little bit, you're not doing it.
There was two different occasions on there that just blew my mind. One, it's basically when I say Wheatland, everything I think about is just that tabletop. That tabletop is ridiculous. It's just we're in the air for seconds. Yeah. And then if there's a crosswind, you're up in the air long enough that the guy next to you can get blown by the wind, and that's one of the times the most memorable jumps I've had was, I think it was R.J. Anderson. We took off side by side, or almost side by side, what I thought was side by side, and then I just watched him move over and then disappear underneath my truck completely.
No shit. And this tabletop's probably 150 feet or something.
Oh man,
it's long.
It's so long, and we're up in the air it just pops you, and then you just do your hang time. It's long enough that I watched a vehicle move over and then disappear completely underneath me. Now I'm getting ready for a crash at this point, so I'm like, oh shit, because
you think he's under you, right?
He's under me. I'm going to land on him, and we're doing I don't know how much miles an hour. We're like 20 feet up in the air. Oh, this is really going to be bad. And so now I come down to land and crash, and then all of a sudden he just squirts. He lands and squirts. I have no idea because I can't see him. He lands and squirts, and then I land, and we're just back to racing. And I was already 50%. I was already 50% into the crash, and I was like, "What happened?" I was halfway through this crash. Okay,
that's one of the things that like you can't plan for, right? No. Like, holy shit, man!
Yeah,
and so he was probably an inch ahead of you at that time, like right.
I didn't even know how it happened. It was unbelievable, and it was so thankful that it wasn't a crash. But I've never been in that situation where you were so far into a crash already because you'd had time to get ready for the crash because you're up in the air so long. And then to have it not happen was just unbelievable.
And all of this is taken in sequence for maybe 2 seconds.
Yeah,
a second and a half.
But it seemed like a really long time.
That's crazy. And there's been so many times in short course racing where nobody has been that lucky. They've actually had the crash execute.
Oh, 100%. And then there was another time on that same tabletop. This was Doug Matag. So there's a train of us. We all take off, and we're on the tabletop. And then I don't know what Doug was doing, but he was just going harder. Mm-hmm. And so he takes it, and then he comes, and he's completely a truck length above all of us. and going faster because he's so much higher.
Yeah, so his apex in the air is like 40, 60 feet after you guys probably.
Exactly. So I'm there in the middle of a race, and all of a sudden I turn into a spectator, and I look over and I see the underneath of this guy's truck flying over the top of me, and I was like, "Wow, that's super exciting!"
Oh man!
In the middle of a race, all of a sudden I'm a spectator, and this truck's above me, and I don't even know where it's going to land. But it's just that's Wheatland, and that jump alone, it's so sketchy, and it screws it's up a lot of people. But in terms of the excitement on being on that jump and participating in that race with that jump, there's you never thought something like that would happen until you're there experiencing it.
Yep.
And then these weird things happening, and it's just that's one of those things where somebody like me who has just a terrible memory, but that's imprinted in there.
That is so cool, though. And we were talking about it a little bit before last week when we were talking about the fans, and the fans on the East Coast or Midwest are phenomenal. So you said the Crandon fans are phenomenal, the people at Wheatland are phenomenal. That's probably one of the things that they go to look for, right? Is because they have all those same memories ingrained in them too.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, the fans in the Midwest, I mean, that's the real deal. And I would love it if we could get the West Coast to have that same type of dedication and realness, I guess is what it is. And so it's super fun to be going to Crandon and Bark River and the Midwest tracks where people just have that excitement, and I also get that in Mexico too. Like I feel, I don't know if humanity is the right word. I don't know, what is it? Like real fans,
right?
And I mean,
their appreciation level is different than the West Coast. I can totally get that vibe, and I don't know if the people on the West Coast are different. I think it's more saturated, right? They're so used to it.
I think maybe it's partially the tracks. Like to me, like Glen Helen to me is
boring.
Okay. Glen Helen is gold, not the track that we race on in Lucas,
right?
But the real track. Like I look at that and I see little glimpses of like Chula Vista, the quarry, those big up the hill.
That first Daytona turn at Glen Helen would be so cool in a Pro 4.
That's where we should be. That's where we should be on and running around in these vehicles.
So I got to drive the motocross track in a UTV for a Yamaha thing that we did with Yamaha out there. It was so fun. Like I didn't even want to go back to the short course track. I had so much fun riding the dirt bike track.
Exactly, 100%. So
it was super cool.
Maybe that's what would because that type of energy that gets transmitted from the racer into the fellow racer into the crowd. I don't know. Maybe that's my only solution as to how we can get that type of
bring Chula Vista back.
Yeah, or just put us on the main track at Glen Helen. Yeah. It's right there. Robbie Gordon did it right in the Super Truck Series. I think.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Right, he did. Yeah. I mean, I didn't do it. I wasn't.
Some of those jumps look a little bit sketchy in those trucks, but I don't disagree with you. David commented in again, and he said we definitely thought we lost you at the quarry that one day. It's tough though. But you got to understand, like the mentality that he gets afterwards is he's blessed to be here. Soda before Core raced at Glen Helen. Yeah, I mean, I think it would be cool to bring something back like that. And David also said the ski jump with the head-on breeze for the Wheatland stuff.
Oh my God, yeah, that's some of those crazy crashes at that Wheatland. I remember. I think
what's his name, Minier or whatever,
Randy yard sailed. Yeah,
his truck just turned into a kite.
Yeah. The one that sticks in my head is it was Rodrigo and who's Marty Hart and Corey Hart, I think it was. And it was two guys, both of them no lift guys, hothead guys, and they just wanted to out-jump each other. And they were landing halfway down the hill, maybe almost to the bottom of the
God, that's got to be so hard.
It was unbelievable. And, I think so. Corey ended up yard sailing.
Oh, Kyle Hart?
Kyle Hart.
Kyle Hart,
yeah. They were Kyle Hart, okay. He ended up yard sailing because it was him and Rodrigo, and I don't know if they touched or whatever, but all I know is Kyle had many seconds to view that in terms of, like, think about your takeoff to your landing. That's got to be like 4 seconds. I mean, it's a long time to get over the tabletop and almost down to the flats off of that jump. I mean, how many?
Looking and preparing for this?
Oh my God! And yeah. So that one sticks in my mind.
The ski jump at Chula had an onshore breeze. Oh, okay. So he's talking about that one. Yeah, I can see that. I mean, it's so close down there.
I wonder. Yeah. I mean, I think the crash I had at Chula. I think what happened was because I think that was I was going. Oh man, I can't actually remember. I don't know if I felt like my throttle stuck, or possibly I may have hit the brakes too late. I don't know whatever happened. Whatever happened, I don't know if it was wind. I don't remember, to be honest. But
what happened during the crash? You ended?
Yeah, basically I went down the whole ski jump, like almost vertical, looking at the ground, and then
looking for a penny, whatever they say,
something like that. And then it just grazed the ground a little bit, and then the A pillar just stuck in the ground and went straight up.
Yeah, because it was that hard impact, like you were talking about, that sudden stop.
Yeah, that's a suck fest.
Man, that does suck. Well, let's kind of change gears a little bit, or switch gears a little bit, and talk about some of the accomplishments and accolades that you've had. So you've been racing Pro 4s or off-road for how long now?
My first race was in '99.
Yeah, so just over 20 years.
Well, I crashed and didn't do the 2001 season because of a crash at Crandon. Wasn't really a crash. I got actually I did have a crash. So that killed that season, and then didn't come back until 2005 or 6. So several years there, and then there was also 9/11 that kind of put a damper on things because I was based out of New York City, so that didn't help.
Oh, you're doing some of your business stuff out there?
Yeah, just like it really, because I live a couple blocks from the World Trade Center, and so we were evacuated and weren't able to come back for a few months, and then it just, it kind of made racing like, well, I don't know how we're going to do that right now because we got big
life's
issues.
More important at this point.
Yeah. So anyway, I think I came back in 2005 or 2006. So I did go away for a few years.
Yeah.
And then come back.
So we can call it about 15 years or so. But during that time, you had a lot of cool things happen. You were learning how to do it. You were establishing a team. You were building sponsors. You were doing all of the stuff that every normal racer does. But you had some pretty good accomplishments. You've won races before. Yep. You've competed for championships.
Yeah. The thing that the place we're sitting here now is my own race shop, and I'm here, and that's something which I should have done a long time ago, and I wasn't able to do, or I didn't figure out, I should say, how to do it because I was working and living in Manhattan,
right,
and then having a race team, located remotely or not there with me.
Well, yeah, so your arm's length.
Yeah, so basically being an arrive and drive guy, and that's really super hard to do. So I would say that I think I would be further along in terms of the some of the consistency if I would be located here, and so that's kind of what I'm trying to do. But yes, along the way I've had lots of wins. I think 17. If I think if that's correct. And then the other thing that's really interesting is that I don't know if anybody's had more bad luck than myself when it comes to leading a race and then something going wrong. Like it's just
a mechanical failure or worse.
Just anything. I mean, like I've been so I've won Crandon a few times, but I've been in the lead so many times at Crandon and other places, and then even on the last lap, even on the last turn, and still had something go wrong.
Yeah.
And those things are just so demoralizing and bums me out. But
because you're doing everything right and something else happens. It's like stuff that you can't control.
Yeah, it's so crazy.
Especially for a guy like you too, man.
It's so crazy. It's like I don't know. I mean, and it happens to other people too. Like where you'll win a race just on the last lap, and so sometimes you get handed some freebies, but it's been crazy to me, like that. How many of that times that's happened, and then I think a lot of times it was my own doing, like basically only having one gear, which is just balls to the wall the whole time, so like being way out in the lead and just keep pushing instead of, hey, okay, take it easy, back off.
Yep.
Do you have a second gear? Do you have a third gear? Rather than just always 100%.
Yeah. Well, I guess that's good and bad, right? Because first of all, I have the same personality, but it doesn't matter what we're doing, and your business acumen is the same. You're 100%, right? You're going to get the client. You're going to do a better job. You're going to meet those milestones and goals. I don't think you should put any pressure on yourself for having that personality, because I think that's what really drives you to be able to do these fantastic things that you're doing in life. You're not sitting at home eating potato chips. I mean,
well, I mean, the fans certainly like it. They know they're going to get their money's worth, and so don't take your eyes off of the wild.
Hey, they gave you the nickname. It's right here by my shoulder.
yeah, that's earned, by the way. That's not self-proclaimed at all.
So. I do think that's pretty cool that you do have that nickname. A couple of times that I remember you driving as well, and I talked to Ryan Beat a little bit about this last week, but when I went to Wild Horse Pass, I think it was one of the first races that I had ever been to and seen. I think it was in the 2013 area, and I didn't even know short course existed at this time. Right, I'm this motocross kid, and dirt bikes are the best thing ever. But then I start seeing short course, and I remember seeing the orange truck, and I remember seeing your nickname, and I thought to myself, man, this guy's going to be good to watch. Like, I'll watch him during the race, and you didn't disappoint, and you didn't. I think you may have come home on the podium or top 5 or something, but so it was a good race for you. But the whole time I remember seeing you going, I don't want to say back and forth, because for whatever reason you were battling these guys, and something would happen, like you're saying, and you'd fall back a couple positions, and most people would be like, okay, I got to save the truck. You're like, no, fuck this, I'm going back by those dudes that put me in this position. And it was really cool, because it was motivating for me to see that people still had that like go get 'em attitude and didn't like just fall back.
The thrill of the race, man.
Yeah.
When you're in the middle of it, it's like, it's really so exhilarating, and you're just so happy to be, in that racing, and so it gets to like the ultimate race is where you
and turn 2, you came on the outside. I forgot who it was. It wasn't Kyle LeDuc. It was it might have been Renazetter, but you came from the outside, and whatever happened, he slipped up a little bit. And when you came from the outside, you started turning probably, I don't know, a good 80 feet before the turn, because you wanted to make sure you saw him sliding up. You wanted to make sure you got under him. And man, it was so cool. The amount of roost that went over the barriers on that turn, I was like floored.
Yeah,
it was so cool.
Nice.
Those moments for me are like, well, they're like those memories that you remember, right? Like at Wheatland, like they're so cool for me to see. And I was never able to obviously drive a Pro 4. I was the UTV guy, but it's always cool to have those in the back of your head when you're doing it yourself, because you feel like that guy, right?
The thing that I really like about the Pro 4 or the 4-wheel drives is that you can actually let the truck do its thing, and your personality can actually differentiate people by how they're driving, which is weird because you're just going around the track. I mean, how can you tell one guy from another? But that's what's really interesting is like, I like watching drivers where you can actually see some personality from what they're doing, and I thought that was interesting how that can be. Because it's somebody sitting in a truck. I mean, it's just a truck.
It's like getting me so excited just thinking about this. My heart's pumping all good. But that's really a good way to look at it, because I think that's why fans are so intrigued by it. And I love it so much is because, I can feel it when people have that personality going like, yeah, I know he's pumped. I know he's thinking like this because he's going to go through a turn. You can almost get in line like you're in sync with them when you're watching them on the track. And for any of you guys that aren't watching the video, we have one of Adrian's Pro 4s sitting here right behind us getting all prepped up for the Midwest Series coming up in just a month or two here, right?
Yeah. June 6th, I think, is the first race. And
you excited?
Yes, I am.
Yeah, get back to racing?
absolutely. Yeah, I mean, it's normally we're already racing by this time,
Right.
Well, just about. Yeah, when we were running on the West Coast. Now that it's Midwest, it's still there's still frost on the ground, so it's a much more of a summer season. But it gives us time to really get ready and prepared.
Yeah.
Which is great. But I'm really excited, and it really seems like short course and in particular Pro 4 is taking a major uptick this season. So.
It really looks like there's going to be a lot of drivers in that class, so I'm excited for you guys because that's one of the most bummer things, right? Is out here on the West Coast the last couple of years, you get a podium because everybody else breaks. Like you don't want that as a racer.
Correct.
None of us fans want it. So if you guys have a bunch of people on the track, man, it's going to be knockdown, drag out awesomeness.
Yeah. And so one of the racers who's come back, and when I started out racing, he was racing as Jamie Flannery.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So he's come back, and he's come back with a vengeance. And so he put together a team. So there's going to be 2 more for the whole season next year. Keegan Kincaid's going to be in a Pro 4. Jamie's going to be in a Pro 4. I think there's going to be a couple of other guys, and the field. I mean, I think the West Coast guys that didn't make it back to the East are maybe going to be coming back. So maybe like Matag, maybe RJ Anderson. I'm not sure who else. Hopefully they come. It'll be nice if Greg Adler comes. But if these guys can come, we can have just a stacked field, and it's going to be super exciting because, I mean, I'm just so all about four-wheel drive.
Yeah.
I mean, to me, like if you think about, okay, I'm going to go in the dirt, do you ever think,
two less wheels the better? No,
two-wheel drive's okay.
Yeah.
I mean, no, I'm like, no, you need all four wheels pulling. That's the way to go in the dirt.
That's why it's the big dogs. That's why everybody goes up in the stands to watch.
Oh, man. I mean, if you can go high, you can go low, you can do things. And that's why in the UTV, where you could now, I'm excited to get into a UTV because it's four-wheel drive.
That's big news that you were telling me, and for all of you guys out there. So everybody wants to drive a Pro 4, right? Well, now you're going to drive a UTV too.
Yeah, I got really lucky and hooked up with Race Driven, who they're a power sports company out of Escanaba, Michigan, and I'm going to be in an RS1.
Dang, that's going to be cool.
In the Pro Stock UTV in the Champ Series,
right?
In the Midwest Series.
Have you got to? Well, you have a UTV that you probably drive around on the trails and stuff, right?
Yeah, I've got a couple. I love it. I mean, I really love the RS1. I've got my own one really dialed in, and so I'm super excited to go and race in one and get more seat time and just have more fun. And I think there's 40, 50, in the class.
Man, that's a big class.
So I mean,
they're probably going to have two, like an A and B main then.
No, I think they just let them all go.
I mean
it's that's exciting.
That is exciting.
Tons of guys out there to race against is exciting.
Hey, talk about personalities. You get to experience all new personalities in that class.
Oh yeah.
That's going to be pretty fun.
It's probably going to be, I mean, there's people going to be yard sailing, and because I mean, with that many people in there. Yes, it's going to be tough.
And so are they building your UTV for you now?
Yes.
Okay, cool. So you'll be able to have it ready. And are you going to be able to get any seat time in it before then, or are they just going to ship it down to the track?
No. We're definitely going to need to get some seat time. It's a 2020 Polaris RS1, and it's going to get, whatever it can get done to it done. But it's supposed to be stock, so it's not too much you can do.
Yeah.
But whatever we can do.
Those guys push the limits in that NA class, man. So whatever the rules are, they push all the way up against those bad boys.
Yeah. Yeah, but I mean that's tight. The tight officiating, from what I understand, it's very tight. But
it is.
But that's going to be super exciting to be a part of. It's four-wheel drive.
Yeah,
absolutely. How can it not be fun, man?
It's going to be a little different than what you're used to, but I think it's going to still be really cool for you. Like you said, it's going to be extra seat time, so you'll be able to notice the track more and get a better feel for the things that are going on, and you're going to experience all different competition. I think it'd be cool to see what you say after the series is done, and see how you think. Maybe come join at some of these specific UTV races. I think it'd be pretty cool to see out there. I know all of our audience members would really like that. All right, well, we're going to get into some more fun stuff after the commercial break, so let's do that right now. We'll see you guys in just a second here.
Hello, I'm Justin, the founder of Shock Therapy. Shock Therapy has been around for 5 years, but we have personally been tuning suspension on off-road cars and race vehicles for over 25 years. We tune between 10 and 15 cars per day, every single day of the week. Our concentration is tuning shock systems and supplying components that improve the ride quality of your car in many ways. Not only do we work on the average UTV, but we also tune suspension for race teams and professional drivers. We currently tune for over 87 race teams in Best in the Desert and SCORE. Our clients and race teams rely on our suspension components to allow them to win races and keep them safe. Suspension is a moving target. We are always trying to hit that target with every customer that we work with. Each customer's needs can be different, and we tune our kits accordingly. Our research and development never stops. We improve our components every single day. As the industry evolves and improves, so do our parts and kits. As of right now, we have over 100 products for UTVs. So when you bring your car to us, you have the satisfaction of knowing that you have the most experience, the highest quality products, and the fact that your car is being tuned specifically to you.
Zollinger Racing builds the best aftermarket products available. Products for your UTV or snowmobile, including billet radius rods, billet tie rods, billet steering knuckles, billet steering racks, alternator kits, and much more. All manufactured in the United States in-house at their headquarters in Nibley, Utah. Travis Zollinger and his team test in some of the most brutal conditions, racing in places like the Best in the Desert Mint 400, Ultra 4 King of the Hammers, UTV World Championships, and many more. Visit ZollingerRacingProducts.com and use the code DIRTLIFE to get 10% off your next purchase, and join us on social media at Zollinger Racing Products to see our products in action. Zollinger Racing, the best products, period. Finally, we got Lance from Solderweld in the studio. Thanks for coming down, bud. Hey, why don't we just record a commercial now?
Yeah, why not? So good to be here, man. It's been a lot. I'm trying to get down here forever, and I wanted to talk about the off-road kit.
Dude, I love those things. I got it in my pack.
Yeah, we're running hundreds of vehicles now running them, whether it's a UTV or some guy's got it in a backpack on his motocross. He's got everything he needs to make a fix right there on the fly, out on the trail, or in the desert, whatever it is.
Well, since I've already used one, I kind of know what to use it for, but explain what it does.
All right, so let's pull one out real quick. You've got your aluminum rods. Remember, they're rods, right? So, light torch, small torch, you can throw it in there or throw it on the rig with your flux. It decontaminates and cleans like, let's say, a radiator. You get a random rock chip runs through as you're racing. You get a rock chip in a radiator. You got to fix it right there or you're out of the race.
You can patch it up.
You can patch it up. It's all good to go.
Yep, just like welding.
Yeah, also as well with that, you've got a brake line fix. So with your flux, you can fix a brake line, stainless steel. And then your hot block, heat absorption putty. So it keeps you from getting burned, number one, as well as keeps the heat from traveling. So it's really nice.
I've used this not even to fix anything. So that stuff works so good, man.
Listen, it's easy. It straps in nicely so that you have everything you need in one little place, and you don't have to carry a big bag in
It's like a first aid kit for your vehicle.
Yeah, chase trucks have it as well, so that if they need to make a fix on the fly, they can get it done and get it done quick and get you back in the race.
Dude, those things are so cool. All right, so it's at Solderweld on Instagram, Facebook, and solderweld.com.
Awesome.
All right, thanks, bud.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, we are back. Thank you guys for sticking with us. Episode 75 of the Dirt Life Show with, this legend, Adrian Cenni, sitting right next to me on the left here. He's got so many fantastic things. We could have probably 2 or 3 more shows just talking about some of the stuff that he's doing or done in his life. But we were just talking about some of the Midwest short course racing and how the Pro 4 class is set to be pretty freaking awesome this year. I mean, we've seen the Pro 4 class the last couple years, and we've really wanted it to grow and, be the class that it's really going to be. So now I think maybe we should get some more people involved or, get everybody going.
Yeah. So one of the good things about losing the Pro 4 on the West Coast is hopefully us guys are going to all be reunited with the East Coast guys. And I actually tried to get something like that together. I came up before Lucas let go of the Pro 4 series. I came up with a way that we could have the drivers from the West Coast go to the East Coast and the East Coast go to the West Coast, and it fell on its face. I couldn't get it to work. I was going to call it the Race of Champions. So
it was like an East-West shootout kind of thing?
Yeah, what it was a series within a series, and my whole goal was to just put up a bunch of money to get to be the carrot. To me, that's like, that's going to get guys to come out of the woodwork and to compete on both the East and the West Coast and make the drive over. And then, because it's really, when you get everybody together, that's when the best racing is going to happen. The more competitive guys together, the better. Yeah. So I was... and
it'll grow the sport.
Yeah, and it was just, it's so natural. It's just a natural thing, especially with the Pro 4. It's such a great vehicle, and there's a lot of good drivers that could be there could be a lot of good drivers if they're together. But if you take them here and you take them there, because it's so expensive to run in Pro 4 and there's such a learning curve,
right?
It kind of deters a lot of people.
Well, do you think there's as much of a learning curve now with all these guys that are I don't want to say graduating or coming up through UTVs? Because that kind of seems like a good step, right? Not as far as the budget goes, but from vehicle.
Yes. So you've got Kyle Cheney, and then there's, why am I forgetting the other guy?
Well, CJ kind of did it too.
Yeah.
I guess he kind of back and forth, but.
Yeah, but last season was, I think, the first season of Pro 4 of, there's a couple of good guys that came in from the UTVs into the Pro 4, and they're competitive, which is great. And then now we've got some of the West Coast guys that are going to hopefully come. Some more of the West Coast guys that didn't make it last year are going to come and join up. And then maybe a couple of new guys are going to come in. Yep. A couple of people will step up, maybe. So, and then, like I said, with some money coming into it as well.
It would be pretty cool to see that class grow, man. I've always, when I grew up as a little kid watching dirt bike racing, I always went and made sure, even if I was racing the 80 beginner class, I always went up and watched the pros race. Yeah. And so I always made sure that every time I was at a Lucas race, whether I was the race before or the race at the beginning of the day, I always walked up and watched the Pro 4s, always.
Yeah.
It's my favorite class.
And with good reason. It's so much fun to watch, for sure. And we need to get more people into it, for sure. And I think the part of what we should do is put some cost cutting or cost saving measures in place,
right? Or a bonus structure or anything like that.
Certainly prize money will definitely bring guys out, for sure. But I'm thinking more like a front diff, a standardized front diff.
Oh, I see.
Standardized transmission, crate motor. Some of these things if you bring the costs down, or if you make it so that there's not a learning curve, because the whole front diff is a learning curve. To figure out what's the best front diff and how to get it to live and blah blah blah.
Right. Transfer cases. All
same
kinds
thing
of stuff.
Same thing with the transmission.
Yeah.
It's like automatic versus manual. There's definitely a learning curve in keeping the manual alive and not snubbing the motor and having it be strong enough that it's going to live with the extra power over on the two-wheel drive and the Pro Lights. So if we put some of those things in place, then maybe it would make it so that people would come back. And there's a lot of Pro 4s out there that are not running because the guys didn't want to upgrade just the transmissions. So there's a lot of automatic Pro 4s.
Oh, you're talking about Pro 4s sitting in garages collecting dust.
Correct.
Yeah.
That because they've got an automatic transmission, and to upgrade now to run to be competitive, you got to have a manual.
Right.
And a manual transmission, you're looking at $40,000. You can't have one. You got to have two. So now you're $80,000, and plus your learning curve, and then you got to have your clutches are gonna work. So it's a big endeavor with a learning curve. So it's money and learning curve to get it to work. So
I think there's a big opportunity though this year, especially with a Pro 4 class growing by everybody coming together. For an organization to be able to build on those things that you're talking about. So making specific rules or specific things happen is a lot easier when you have a big group of people instead of just one or two people.
Yeah. So let's say, for example, the 5 automatic transmission Pro 4s that are sitting in people's garage, which if Champ came out and said, okay, going forward, if you're going to run a manual transmission, you got to carry an additional 250 pounds over the automatic or whatever they say, whatever they come up with. And then now those automatic transmission trucks are going to be competitive and can go out and be in the race and be in the mix.
That's very similar to the way that Lucas structured the rules for the UTV class when Yamaha had the manual shift YXZ compared to a CVT of a Polaris Razor.
Gotcha.
So the Polaris Razors had to weigh 1,680 pounds and the Yamahas had to weigh, I don't know, or 1,650 and whatever they were, and the Yamahas were 100 pounds heavier, 150 pounds heavier.
And did it work out?
I think if you ask the Polaris guys at certain points, it didn't. And now the Yamaha guys are saying it didn't because they're changing the rules and trying to figure out where the actual sweet spot is. But there's 2 vehicles racing together. So I think if you ask the general public, it was working out.
Okay, good.
So I don't know about the racers' opinions about it, but, from an outsider standpoint, I think it's fine.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's expensive to go in Pro 4, and there's a reason. It's like double the expense to go from a Pro 2 to a Pro 4. Why is that? It's just a front diff, some axles, and a T-case. Why is it double? What's going on?
Yeah. So,
but there is a lot more into going to 4-wheel drive. So, if we can maybe do 2 things. One is pick a weight penalty or whatever penalty for whatever the current situation is, to be able to encourage some of the not as competitive vehicles to come back and be competitive. That would be number 1. And then maybe number 2 is to say, okay, within a certain amount of time, we're going to have a standardized one, which would be something that you can pick. You don't have to pick it, but this is the standardized one, and then the standardized one is going to be the one with the least amount of penalties.
Right.
And it's going to be a balancing act, but not.
Well, they balanced it when they brought in the V8 crate motors in Pro Light.
Mm-hmm.
They had to do the S-Lingers that were way faster at the beginning, and then the V8 started catching up, and they had to balance that whole thing for those 1 or 2 years that they did it.
So yeah, I mean, there's gonna be a little bit of turbulence, but if the end result is that you've got guys that can muster the budget now to be into a Pro 4, then that's really where we need to be, because it's having it be such an open class. It's down to the guys that have the most experience and the budget to do it, and it's unfortunate because we really need up-and-coming guys.
Yeah, absolutely. You don't want it to be money racing. You want it to be talent racing. Yeah, absolutely. I agree with that. Well, it'll be interesting to see, and I think there's a real good opportunity, like I said, with the Champ Off-Road Series doing it. And, the Gas Short Course Series on the West Coast here now starting back up again. I think there's a good opportunity for it to help all the guys on the West Coast expand. Maybe it'll be more like a regional series at the beginning, but there's plenty of room for them to have a Pro 4 race if 5 guys show up, whatever it is.
Yeah. I mean, there's clearly a market for West Coast racing. There's a hub here, and there's just access to all the vendors that are in this kind of general area. So there's no doubt that there's a market for it. It's going to need money and obviously some smart decisions for sure. And that's why I go back to like Glen Helen to me is gold. Let's go and let's get some excitement. Let's go on the big track.
Yep.
I mean, if we're not going to have the money for a big payday or
make it exciting
or a big TV, at least make it so that we're racing on iconic, epic tracks.
All right, if anybody from Glen Helen is watching, give Adrian his dream. Let him get on the big track, man.
Absolutely.
I'll
bring 2 Pro 4s if you let me on.
There we go. So David P. said Pro 4 is the U.S. equivalent of F1, the last unlimited racing class on the dirt. Yeah, well, I don't know if I would consider it quite F1 status because F1 is on another level from any type of racing. But it is pretty cool that you think about it like that because for all of us off-road guys that are watching this show, I think it really is the top echelon of the sport. Like, it doesn't get any better than, like I said it before, watching a Pro 4 race and watching you guys just knock down, drag out.
Yeah, I mean, he's right that having it be an open class, it does have some. It's interesting because you could push the limits or innovate in an area and then have it go your way, which is great. But it does end up coming down to just 1 or 2 trucks that are superior to everybody else's, and that's unfortunate. I mean, it's definitely it's a tough.
But that's the same
call.
thing in F1, though. I mean, like, it would just compare apples to apples. I mean, Ferrari's doing pretty good now, but the Mercedes are way ahead of the field. No matter what. So,
with the crazy budgets, what are they?
Well, and we're not talking about budgets. We're talking about ratios here, right?
Yeah.
Like we're talking about. But so Racer A and Racer B in the short course series driving a Pro 4, those budgets are obviously different, but the level can close up pretty quickly if they have those certain things like what you're talking about.
Yeah, I mean, you got to be competitive, you're talking hundreds of thousands, if not million or more, just to be competitive. And then if you want to just blow everybody out of the water, I mean, if you run double that budget, then that's going to be a good start. I mean, you're still going to have people that know what they're doing. But
it's a team around you, right? Being able to build that truck and do all that stuff. We could talk about that for days, but I really do think that you have a good point, and I think that the Pro 4 stuff could definitely grow if it's executed properly. I think it'd be fantastic to see a full. I mean, could you imagine if Pro 4 had, we won't say UTV level numbers at 50, but maybe half that, 20 trucks, 25 trucks in the field? That would be insane.
Yeah, I think hopefully we're going to approach that this year at the Fall Crandon, because a lot of guys come out of the woodwork for that. And with Jamie stepping up, Jamie Flannery stepping up in Crandon, we could start to see some of that.
That'd be super cool.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's definitely... So, like, if you look back at the core days when Jim Baldwin was doing it and we had 10 to 12,000 people in the stands on good tracks, and it had momentum. So there was 2 things in place: the guy spending money, the promoter spending money, and good tracks. And so it kind of looks like we got that going in the Midwest now too. And so it's looking up.
It really is. I wonder how many people are going to be. What's the most amount of people that you've ever had on track at once in a Pro 4 race? Do you remember?
No, I mean,
got to be over 10 at least.
My memory's crap. No, I mean, just a couple of years ago, I think we had like 15, 16 guys.
Yeah, I remember that. Like right when I first got into short course or first started learning about short course, there was a good amount. Did you ever race that Speed World track with the moguls that were in it?
Speed World.
It was in North Phoenix. So it wasn't Wild Horse. It was in North Phoenix, and they had like a mogul section right down the middle of the track. Yeah, and they had a right-hander and then a nice left-hander bank.
Yeah, I love that track. Actually, that's where I practiced my barrel roll for years.
Oh, really?
World. Yeah. Uh-huh.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's insane, man.
Yep.
I think that's pretty cool, though. So
that track is still there, I believe. It's obviously in disarray right now. But yeah, that was a good track.
Yeah, it would look like a really cool place. One of the people that I grew up racing dirt bikes, his father actually managed that place. But anyways, yeah. So we got a couple questions came in. Yeah, Dan.
Yeah.
So
I remember Dan. Dan was cool enough to let me go and dig a hole and put some tires in and go practice the barrel roll.
Yeah, Dan's definitely good people. Pro 4, yeah. And then, man, it would be so cool to 10 to 20 Pro 4 trucks out there. I really hope that the Midwest Series brings that type of numbers this year.
Yeah, I don't see why not.
John Lewis commented in and said, pre-Lucas Core days, Glen Helen used to have off-road races on the main track. Oh, wow, that's cool. Now it only happens for special events. Yeah, probably like Robbie Gordon's one. That facility has some. Yeah, it's a pretty awesome facility. We need to get more Crandon races out at Glen Helen. I think Glen Helen is about the only place that has the structure or infrastructure to be able to do something like what you're talking about.
Yeah, I mean, if we're going to make West Coast what it should be, we've got to start with a couple of really good tracks. Okay, so Reno is a good track. It's right there.
I think there's another place out in Anza. It's called Kahia Creek. That's a dirt bike track. They have all kinds of potential for short course stuff because they have nice rolling hills and different things like that. It would be fantastic if somebody could do something out there.
Yeah, I mean, there could be 3 tracks if we do Glen Helen on the real track, or I mean the big track. Do Reno and
fuck. Could you imagine a Pro 4 going all the way up to the top of Mount St. Helens? It's hard to get up on a dirt bike.
That's Glen Helen. That's the.
Oh, here I see your gears turning right now. You're getting ideas to try to go up the hill, huh?
100%.
Yeah. So on the main track, it's the hill that's all the way at the top with the flag on it.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So it would be pretty cool. In fact, that's the hill I broke my back on. So,
really?
Yeah, at the bottom of the hill. So. So let's kind of go a little bit more in depth as to what your plans are for 2021. You already mentioned that you're going to be racing a UTV and a Pro 4 in the Midwest Series. Is there any other stuff that you're going to be working on next year or two?
Yeah, I got to fall out of the sky in the bubble and
you have to do it.
Yeah, and break the altitude record on that.
What's the goal for altitude? Like, where are you going to start and where are you going to?
I think the first
where do you land? Like, what's like? How do you even from space? Do you just say I'm going to land in California or I'm going to land over here? Like, it's like chasing a hot air balloon or what?
Yeah, no, you where you use a meteorologist to figure out where you're going to land.
Oh, okay.
And then again, when you do it, you're going to have some practice drops and like some unmanned drops, and so it's going to be somewhat organized. So,
holy crap, that's insane! You're going to do that.
Yeah. So so that's on the horizon. I do want to be able to do the double barrel 720 spin in
even more than what we just saw you do. Holy cow!
Yeah, do a double spin, and that's going to be mind blowing and epic when that works.
And from what you said before, like you get jarred when you're moving around in that. Does that increase the G forces? Two flips? Is that?
Oh yeah, it's going to be ridiculous.
Woo-wee.
Yeah, it's going to be. It's probably not going to be a good idea, but if you can do it and survive, then it'll be.
Yeah, you better start doing some more training there, buddy.
No, the way to do this is first of all you got to build a purpose-built truck. It can't just take an old Pro 4 and modify
and repurpose it.
Yeah, no, you're going to have basically a truck built completely around the driver cab, and you can't have your head be able to hit all the tubing like it does in a regular barrel roll because it's a lot of lateral forces. There's no forces front and back. It's all just to the side, which is really bad for your neck. So.
Does that mean that you change any of the aerodynamics on the vehicle, or does it really matter going wobbles?
No, it's not really aerodynamic. You're not going fast enough to have it be like a big aero thing.
Okay.
It's mostly you just need hang time. You need hang time, and then probably going to have to speed the spin up and then slow it down when you want to land. And you got to also make sure that the takeoff ramp, you got to really take the guesswork out. You got to make it so that the takeoff ramp really probably just puts you so that there's no margin for error because you are going to have to go faster than
do a little bit more engineering so you angle the ramps differently or something.
Well, you got to make the ramps all basically completely adjustable.
Got it.
So number one, but let's say the 4-foot ramp that on the single barrel now is going to be a 6-foot takeoff ramp, and so it's got a before you're like 2 seconds of hang time. Now you got to go closer to 4 seconds of hang time, spinning. So it's going to be a shit show, but
Dude, those mathematics are already confusing me. But it sounds like it's going to be bitching.
yeah, it's going to be amazing when it works.
Yeah, when it works. And what do you guys do to prepare for that? Clearly, you're going to maintain your body and stuff, but do you have a team that helps you?
You have to put together the team. I mean, it's right now we're looking for some funding to do it because I got I'm maxed out with what I'm doing. I mean, I have done some preliminary research and some testing just with like RC cars and we know how we want to make the ramp. We know how we want to make the vehicle.
Scale it up and yeah.
So yeah, we kind of know what we want to do because we've done some testing over the last couple of years to figure it out. So now it's time to actually go and build the vehicle, build the ramp. It's got to be like 100-foot long ramp, dedicated ramp. I mean, it's got to be a really nice ramp. The vehicle's got to be a certain way. And then that's just to even get to, basically to step one, which is start testing.
So for any of you guys that are listening that didn't catch what he said, for the last couple of years he's been testing this, and it's still phenomenal to me to see how much effort you're putting into these things that you're passionate about, flying through the sky, jumping from space in a bubble or the highest altitude. Like those things are so time consuming and they take so much energy and research and development, and you're doing it outside of a full-time gig, your Pro 4 racing career, and you're still doing all this stuff, man. It's really cool to sit here next to you and see the ambition that one person has. It really is.
Oh, thank you.
So 720 degrees in a barrel roll in a modified Pro 4 truck is going to be insane.
Yeah, it's not going to be a modified Pro 4. This is going to be a purpose-built, from scratch truck.
Hey, watch. Next thing you know, it's going to be taking that and modifying it to race short course. Who knows how good it's going to be, right? Did you ever measure any of the forces that you're getting put through in some of these stunts? Like, do you ever track it, like with a computer module or something? Like a GPS reader or anything like that? Because to get knocked out, I mean, like fighter pilots do who knows how many Gs before they get knocked out. So that's got to be some serious Gs that you're pulling.
Yeah, it's not the Gs I'm pulling. It's just the head smashing on stuff.
Oh, okay, so yeah. It's the sudden impacts.
Yeah, it's just basically your head bouncing off the roll bars, and that's just not good. Because again, it's like you're sitting in a cab and you've got your roll cage. It's like really close to your head. So again, when you're doing the barrel roll, your forces on impact are not forward or backward; they're sideways. So when you land, so you got your one wheels landing, so your head comes down, and it whacks the roll cage. Then it hits your other leg, and then it hits the middle, the bar that separates you from the engine.
Yeah,
that's basically it's like a multiple smack of your head on everything.
Yeah. So we've talked about this. We've had shows on safety with safety experts and all of these different things. And one thing that I always tell everybody, I mean, even if you're just a weekend warrior in your UTV and you don't set up your harnesses properly, you're still wearing your helmet and stuff, you can move with tight harnesses. You can move 6 to 10 inches in your seat without having a proper setup. And you have a proper setup, clearly. But you're moving that much because the forces are so great. So it's always so important to make sure you're as safe as possible.
Yeah, I'm a firm believer, and I don't know if I'm right or wrong, but to me, I feel like your body is basically like Gumby, and you extrude when you're on impact. So you even though the belts are stretching, yes, but your whole body stretches.
Right.
And so instead of 6 or 10 inches, I'm thinking you're stretching a foot or two,
right,
between the belts, moving out of the seat, the impact, your body stretching. I mean, I've unfortunately got a very long neck and a very heavy head, and it just seems like like I've actually felt my head come out the front windshield, hit the ground, and I'm fully strapped in. I have no clue how I did that.
Yeah, just because there's so much force. And that you're moving dirt at the same time.
And also, I think on that particular impact, I think the actual whole cab parallelogrammed. So like the top of the A-pillar stuck in the ground. The rest of the frame kept going. So it almost like parallelogrammed.
Oh, fuck.
Somehow, I don't know how it didn't get decapitated, maybe. I don't know how that works.
That's insane, man. Yeah. So are you going to do anything specific for the barrel roll as far as safety goes? I mean, you're building a whole new truck, but did you learn anything like a containment seat, anything like that?
Yeah, what I think the way to go is to actually have the seat be on some type of a suspension system that it can move, almost similar to a those gyroscope type of, except it not quite be a gyroscope, but basically have it act a little similar fashion so that you have, shocks or shock absorbers in all directions that it can move.
That makes sense.
And then kind of come back to its happy place.
So not that it's the same, but like when you get me thinking about this, I've always wondered how Todd LeDuc, because he's a guy that I know that races monster trucks, I've always wondered how those safety systems are set up, or those seats are set up, because the impacts and the jarring and the sudden stops that those guys make, even when they just land on their tires, is phenomenal. And then they do those rotations and sideways moves and stuff.
Yeah, and you see Todd's he's practicing for the double backflip. And then I don't know what he's landing. They didn't show what he's landing on, so he's probably landing on tires or something.
He did one to dirt when he landed on his head.
Yeah, that sucks.
Yeah. Well, I mean, more than anybody, but
they must have made the dirt really soft. Otherwise, he would be in much better worse shape, unless the seat is also modified somehow.
Yeah, I'm just wondering. Like, I've always wondered how they have those, because a normal human body, when you go through that big of an impact, let's just say you jump a monster truck, I don't know, he jumps way bigger than this, but 100 feet through the air, and you land straight down on those wheels. A normal human body would usually, a vertebrae can't take that type of impact.
Yeah, I don't know. I haven't been in a monster truck. I'm very intrigued by them, I have to tell you. Because, I love watching when Todd skies and does the mega jump. And then.
But that's the whole physics thing we were talking about, right? Like, how do they do these different things with that?
I mean, I think those tires they take a ton of the impact away. So just think about the movement. So those tires are probably deflecting to each of them at least a couple feet, which is pretty much all you need. And then, of course, you got the shocks on top of it. So I think if they land on their tires. If they land like if he's landing on his cage upside down, that's a different story.
Yeah, because it's the opposite way. Our buddy David said monster trucks have used something like that, so I'm assuming he's talking about that. So we'll see. Well, it'll be interesting to see what you come up with. I would really like to see if you do some behind the scenes on that build for executing that. I think it would be pretty cool for people to see the different technology and stuff that you implement, because you've been clearly working on it for many years, and I think it could help some people.
Yeah, it's very interesting. Again, it's all just like risk assessment, problem solving, fun stuff, and then you get to go and then try to make it work.
Well, we're talking about this like it's I don't want to say an easy thing, because it's obviously hard for you to do, but there's a lot of back process that goes through this. You got to obviously, we'll call it sketch out or do your napkin idea, right? And then you got to start putting together the execution portion of it. How are you going to do it and plan ahead? And do you also have people that support the project, like sponsors or anything like that? Because this is just a one-off thing that you're doing, but for all of the racers that are listening, or all the people that are listening wanting to be able to understand how to get these sponsors or how to do a project like this, what type of process do you go through?
Yeah, I've had a couple of sponsors that did help. They fallen out and ran out of money. So that's been a little bit disheartening, because on the double barrel I do want to get some help on that one. The single barrel, I put that together on my own. So I had a group of 12 stunts. I was actually pitching to do an automotive stunt show on television, and so I have like 12 of stunts like the barrel that I think can be done.
Dude, do you ever sleep?
So I was pitching this, and anyway, to answer your question, it's very hard to get people to have the vision.
Yeah, I could see that.
Now that I've done the barrel roll and it's successful, and it's the first 360-degree spin in a badass truck. Now it's a little bit easier. It's still not easy. So, but yes, it's hard. It's pretty much hard to do to get people to throw money at it.
Yeah, and coming first to market too, it's always difficult because you have to be the one that's innovating and supporting it. I think it is so fantastic that you're doing this. But you have a lot of sponsors that are part of your Pro 4 racing program too, though, right?
Yeah, I've had some really good sponsors. Probably the one that's stuck by my program the longest is King Shocks.
Oh, right on.
Yeah, and thankful for that.
Yeah, well, especially when you're doing these amazing stunts now too. I mean, like they're probably all on board with it after seeing barrel roll.
Yeah, so Brett King, who owns King Shocks, I took him a photo where we're 20 feet up in the air doing a barrel roll, and we got a really nice picture. And it's you basically can't replicate it like if, let's say, in a desert or a short course or anything else. It's once you're upside down, in the middle of your spin, and then snapped a picture, and then
was it a perfect brand representation for him?
Yeah. So basically, he's hanging in his office, and you look at it, and you're like, that's not. Is that sticker upside down?
Is this guy eating shit or like what's happening?
So it's like, that was really cool. So yeah, this
what a cool piece of branding for him for the rest of his life.
Yeah. So
that is pretty cool. Well, you got other people that support you too, as well too. You're wearing a Maxxis shirt.
Yeah, Maxxis. Boxo.
With the Boxo tools, huh? Yeah, you guys can see this Boxo toolbox. He built this cart around it. So shout out to Lucas over at Boxo.
Yep. K1, they make really good race gear. So
orange race gear, by the way.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Got my fellow workmate who he owns Vision Canopy.
Yeah, good old Kyle, right?
Yeah, and that's he's doing really well selling his canopies, and he's just coming out with a 20x20 right now. Which,
oh, really?
So for UTV guys, like if you don't want to,
that's perfect.
Yeah, if you don't want to put up like a whole big awning system on the side of a rig, or you just take two 20x20s. Now you've got a 40 by 80. I'm sorry.
So you got
40. Well, you got a 40x20 space. And
well,
that's huge.
80x20 or 40x40. Yeah. So you got a big room. So now you can have hospitality and you can have both your UTVs under the tent, right?
Yeah, and you can put it up and take it down. So I'm excited to see how that looks.
One of the things that I like most about Vision Canopy or Kyle himself is he's creative. Like he's got a good design mindset.
Yeah, well, I mean, he eats and breathes the off-road stuff. So I mean, that's what he grew up with, and so now we're applying that. And the canopies. What's nice about those canopies is you can put basically decaling everywhere, including underneath on the inside of the ceiling if you want to.
Oh, really? Is it sublimation
ridiculous.
or something? That's pretty cool that you can do all that.
Yeah, no clue.
Man, it just comes out pretty, right?
Yeah.
So we had a couple more comments come in. George Egan said, did anything ever come of the monster truck with basically a bike frame in it that's suspended harness instead of a seat? I have absolutely no idea what you're talking about. I don't know if you do, but...
a bike frame, sitting on a bike frame inside the middle of a monster truck?
Yeah, I don't know, but it just gets your brain thinking in a different manner, right? Like, I have no idea what you're talking about, and I don't know if Adrian does, but the cool part about that is that you don't have to have just a normal seat. Maybe it's a totally different thing that you're thinking about.
I mean, I don't know if I'm going to be sitting on a bike frame when I land super hard. This thing is going to go right up your butt.
Yeah, exactly. I'm not doing that.
But I will say that in the bubble, I am definitely contemplating, because in the bubble I have a race seat like reclined, and it's too heavy. So I'm thinking of going to like a suspended harness, so you could actually move around on the inside of the bubble and jump around, and then when you land,
then you can manipulate it too, right?
Maybe a little bit.
Yeah.
But I think it's more that when you go to land, you can take your you can use your legs as shock absorbers. So now you're not sending it up through your spine.
Yeah.
You're using your legs a little bit.
Yeah, I would definitely think that's cool, and I like all that forward thinking, man. All right, so we're going to talk about a couple other things. The only other thing that I had on my agenda was talking a little bit about more about the health stuff that you do. Like, 2020 has been a weird year, and everybody's looking for fixes to certain things like, we'll say COVID. I hate talking about COVID, but there's vaccinations out, and I'm always an advocate of forward thinking, right? Like, what can I do to make my body better? And what can I do? Like, I don't take pain medicine, just like what you said. But what can I put in, natural or whatever it is, to make it better and perform better? Because my body, unfortunately, doesn't perform very well. I think you have kind of a similar mindset.
Yeah, well, I'm getting hardcore because I'm not getting any younger, and I still want to be able to do stupid stuff and bounce back. So I'm going hardcore into actually gene therapy research and funding different projects. I got 5 projects right now that are funded to. One of them would be specific for joints. So it would be like the soft cartilage in joints to repair that. Like my knee is jacked up.
Give it more elasticity or something?
Hopefully it would actually regrow the cartilage. So
wow, that'd be cool.
We're getting, this is getting down to the DNA level on this stuff. So in addition to, trying to take care of yourself and get rest and intense exercise and everything else, is also look at the DNA map that we are made from and see what's out there that we can do to change it.
There's so many phenomenally brilliant people out there these days, and technology, like you just mentioned. I don't see any reason why these things can't happen. One thing that I always think about clearly every day, because of my injuries, is I wish that somebody could find a cure for spinal cord injuries. Like Red Bull Wings for Life took over the Christopher and Dana Reeves Foundation because one of the founders of Red Bull, his son got paralyzed. I think it was in a dirt bike accident or something. So they're starting to fund more of these things, and I think the level of financial investment as well as the research and development can go a long way if people are doing that instead of just the medical industry. So I really commend you for being able to put forth the effort for making the human body better like that.
Yeah, the stuff that I'm funding is we're not focused on the what's the right word? We're not focused on the innovation. There is so much good research and already being done that's already outlined what we need to do.
Oh, you're focused on the solution.
I'm focused on the implementation of the existing research that's done out there. That's already been done. And so right now, the problem is that there's an amazing amount of great research. It doesn't go anywhere. It doesn't go beyond animal testing. It doesn't go beyond petri dish testing.
It's exactly the same thing that happens with the spinal cord injury stuff.
Yeah. So, I'm not looking to come out with a drug that's going to go through the FDA or anything like that. I'm looking to figure it out and then give it to you, give it to me, give it to whoever wants it. Basically, do it as on like a one person at a time type of a situation. I'm not looking to roll it out to 1 billion people because that's going to take too long. I mean,
plus then you start getting into trouble.
Well, it's just if you make something that's going to work for everybody, it's going to end up. You can't actually make it curative because there's no money once you go that far into it. There's not going to be any money. You just can't do it. But you can do it in a more of a cottage industry type fashion and take the existing research, test it out, get it to a point where it's ready for human testing, and then take it yourself. Is what I'm talking about.
Do you ever? First of all, I think that's fantastic. I commend you so much for being able to do that. I would love to see, even more than your racing stuff personally on a personal level, I would love to see these things come to fruition because I think that could help so many people.
So exciting. It's incredibly exciting. Think about it.
It really is.
Unbelievable.
And do you ever look back on I mean, clearly you're excited about moving forward. And you've already said 1 million times that you don't have the best memory, but do you ever look back on the things that we've talked about tonight and, let's just say you're sitting in bed getting ready to go to sleep and go, wow, I have all these things on the horizon, but I've already done all of these cool things to be able to give me the opportunity to go ahead and accomplish these new goals and things like that, and really look back at your life and appreciate it?
No,
You got to, man.
I'm not really. I'm
You're
just
a forward thinker.
Yeah, unfortunately, I'm not good at looking back. I'm like so fixated on the present and moving forward.
Well, maybe looking back is the wrong way. I guess we'd be appreciative more, because just sitting here, having the opportunity to speak with you for just these couple hours has just blown my mind as to the amount that a human can accomplish and put forward in life, not just for themselves, but for everybody around them, to move industries forward, to move sports forward, to move life in general forward. It is so cool to be able to have a conversation like that.
Oh, thank you.
So, all right. Well, we're going to get past a little bit of that heavy information, and we're just going to go into a rapid-fire Q&A and wind down the show.
Okay.
So I got some secret questions here for you. Let's see here. Some of them our audience has already actually heard. So rapid fire Q&A. Dunes or the river?
Dunes.
You going dunes?
Yep. In
a UTV? What are you taking out there? Dirt bike?
No, dirt bike sucks in the dunes.
Hey, not when you send it, man.
It's got to be 4-wheel drive. So let's just take the Pro 4.
Yeah. Have you taken it out there yet or no?
No.
Like to one of these days?
Yes.
3-wheeler or quad?
Quad.
Going quad. Yeah, 4 wheels, right? Let's see. Do you watch Supercross or motocross?
I like to. I don't do it as much as I'd like to.
Do you know any of the new?
I like Tomac.
Yeah, there you go. Okay, so Tomac or Roxon?
Tomac.
You going Tomac? All right. I thought you'd pick a orange guy, like a KTM guy.
I don't know. Just for some reason, I like Tomac.
Yeah, I think because he's just a all-out, balls-out guy. Maybe you got a personality match.
I don't know. He seems a little diesely. He's just like once if he can get going, he's good.
Yeah, the horsepower is rolling right then, huh? Little Smokies or pizza rolls?
I don't even know what that is.
Little Smokies are the little like hot dog weenies, and then pizza rolls are pizza rolls. You know what pizza rolls are, right?
Neither, bud.
Neither? Okay. Too healthy for you. Coffee or tea?
Tea.
Favorite soda?
Dr. Pepper.
Ooh, that's a good one. And I heard the other day, too, at Ryan Beat's shop, I went in there and I said, what do you guys want to drink? He goes, dude, it's off-road, Dr. Pepper. Don't you know?
Oh, really? I didn't know it was a cliche. Really?
Yeah,
oh, shit.
Yeah. So I said the same thing. I'm like, fuck, everybody on my team drinks Dr. Pepper, too. So if you could have any superpower, what would it be? This is going to be a good one for you. What would it be?
Actually, the superpower is basically to create a force field.
Really?
Yeah, impenetrable force field. And the bubble...
Just around you, or like for an entity or something?
Just the ability to make it, and then you can just put force fields around whatever you want.
That's actually be pretty cool.
And the bubble is basically a low-tech, poor man's force field of sorts. I mean, that's what I'd really like.
Where did this dream come from?
I'd really like... I've been thinking, I've got to figure out this damn force field. It's like shit. I just don't have the brains for it, but I really want one.
Oh man, that's actually really good. I can promise you that we're not going to have an answer like that again. Uggs or Crocs?
Isn't that the same thing?
Well, I appreciate that you don't know, but Uggs are the girly boots, and then Crocs are like those rubber sandals.
That's chick stuff. I don't know what to tell you.
It's a little bit out of your wheelhouse. Yeah. Most memorable race? And this might not even be a Pro 4 race. Maybe this is something else.
I was going to say it's actually not a Pro 4 race. It was club racing back in the East Coast, right when I first got going. It was up. No, it's not East Coast. It was Canada. I went up to Canada. It was in a spec racer, and it was me and this guy, and it was just like.
Do you remember what car you were in, or no? It
was a spec racer Renault.
Oh, okay.
So it was a spec racer. I don't know. It's like a. They call it spec racer. It kind of looks like a Can-Am, like from the 70s or whatever. And it's just like a 1.8 liter engine. And there was me and this guy, and we were just going at it. We were swapping the lead, and we were just weaving because it was a club event. So basically, like all the cars were on the track, and whether it be an open wheel, whether it be a spec racer, whether it be
kind of like they do the 24 Hours Le Mans,
yeah. So it was kind of like that, except it was it was a club day, and it was like poetry. It got to the point where it didn't matter who won. It was just so exciting to be
really
dicing with this dude and just we just like lapped the field because it was just club level. And it just felt like it just felt so exhilarating to be weaving in and out of all this traffic and going around everybody, while at the same time racing each other and not crashing each other out.
That is so cool. It's like you were both in the zone. We talk about that all the time on the show, man. I love that feeling. It just it gives me goosebumps just thinking about it now.
Yeah.
Do you ever wish to go back to club racing like that or asphalt?
No.
Yeah.
No. I mean, once you start flying through the air, in these trucks, it's just like
once you live that dirt life, you never go back.
Oh man, it's that extra dimension, and there's just and then 4-wheel drive. Come on, I mean, geez.
Do you think you would have the ambition to still do like the stunts and stuff like that had you not ever got into the off-road scene?
Yes, 100%.
You would?
Yeah.
Okay, let's see. Favorite flavor of ice cream?
Oh, good question. Probably mint chip.
Mint chip?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, talk about cliche, dude. Dogs and cat or dogs or cats?
I love both, but cats.
You're going cats, huh? Do you have one?
I do. I have a once in a lifetime cat. He's down in the Virgin Islands, actually.
Oh, right on.
Yeah.
He's living the life then, huh?
Yeah, I don't feel right bringing him here to be with me in California because he's way overestimates himself.
Oh.
And, he'd get snapped up by a dingo, or what do you call them, coyotes?
Yeah, coyotes.
Yeah.
Let's see. Netflix or YouTube?
I should say YouTube because there's more interesting stuff.
Yeah,
on there,
you got to say Netflix because you want them to pick you up, right?
But I end up watching quite a bit of Netflix.
Do you?
Yeah.
Burrito or taco?
Taco.
Well, this one's different. Let's. No, you're gonna pick it. The question is Supercross or motocross, but let's switch it up. I don't want to give you one that you can pick. How about monster trucks or F1? Because I know you like flying, but you also like the technology.
Wow. Okay, maybe give me a one more clue on that. So, like, are we talking? Am I going to get to drive? Am I going to get to race?
It's your sport. You can get in the steering or in the driver's seat. You can be a pit crew chief. We can do whatever you want. You just have to pick one: F1 or monster trucks.
Yeah, that's a really rough one because my original desire in life was to be an F1, so I have to say F1. But then now, like I'm a little bit more interested in monster trucks.
Yeah.
So I don't know what to
I've had
say.
this weird obsession with monster trucks the last couple of years too. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's Todd LeDuc's changing the game for us. I don't know. Let's see here. What other? Well, okay. I guess this is going to answer the question that we just had. What other form of racing would you like to try? Actually, you know what? What if it's like Red Bull Air Racing or something? Because you like to fly.
I don't really like to fly. I just have these damn dreams that I have to act on. Like I'm actually not into heights at all, but I just know it can be done, so I have to go do it. Another form of racing. You know what's really fun is there's actually a couple different types of racing. Those jet boats where you go on the zigzag course.
Oh yeah, I forgot. Somebody actually answered the same answer, gave me the same answer a few shows ago.
So that's one, but then there's also
when they if you lose a corner, you go up on the grass. Yeah, that looks fucking insane.
It's super fun. I mean, and then sidecar racing looks super fun too. I mean, there's a couple different types of racing. There's one other type of racing that I'd like to do.
If you're the sidecar, are you going the driver still though?
I like hanging off the side, man.
Yeah, that would be kind of fun, huh?
Stick your helmet on the ground, scrape your face.
Have you seen the dudes that do that on a motocross track where they're hitting those big ass tabletops and shit?
No.
Really? It's fucking crazy. They have kind of like a razor grab bar that they hold on to, and they're in a little cage, and the rider or driver, whatever you call it, will hit the jumps like a 80-foot tabletop and just launch it, and the other dude will lean in the air and correct it. It's awesome.
Wow, I've never seen that.
Hey, you're gonna have to check it out on YouTube. All right, so
wait. Then one other thing, which is that Iceland. Have you seen in Iceland that those ridiculously powered vehicles that do hill climbs, and those?
They're snow vehicles.
They're I don't know what they are, but
ice vehicles?
They just got ridiculous amount of powers, and they do hill climbs in these vehicles, and it's just over the top, literally.
I would like to see that. I don't know. Maybe somebody in the comments could link up a video or something so I could check it out later. Yeah, Todd made monster trucks cool, David said, and John Lewis said they're called sprint boats.
Sprint boats? Okay.
Yeah.
So sprint boats or hill climbing in Iceland.
I got to check that out.
Yeah.
That looks like it'd be pretty sweet. Okay, last question of the night, man. Chips and guacamole or French fries and ketchup?
French fries.
You going French fries?
Oh, yeah.
Dude, I think you're the second person ever to answer French fries.
Oh, hell no. If good French fries, good French fries are gold. Like,
Yeah.
it's got to be good French fries.
Yeah,
They
it
gotta
can't be shitty McDonald's ones.
Correct. They got to be like, your starting point would be like Habit Burger French fries.
Habit Burger?
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever had French fries there. Oh, wait, I take that back. I had them at the UTV World Championship, but that doesn't count because it's a food truck guy.
Yeah. French fries are definitely good.
All right. So, first of all, I really appreciate that that you took the time. Let us come hang out at your shop here. It's really awesome to see all the stuff that you're doing. And like I said before, man, I am completely amazed by the person that you are. Like, it is just, I had no idea who you really were. And that's the whole point of this show is I saw Adrian Cenni at the track. I thought you were a great racer, of course. Wild man. And now just getting to be able to hear your story a little bit. And we didn't even get into any of the business accolades that you have or anything like that. But the brief story that we heard for the last couple hours is phenomenal, dude. It really is.
Thanks for getting me to open up a little bit because I'm really not much of a talker.
Yeah, you're a doer. We can tell that. Well, keep doing what you're doing, man. I appreciate it. You did a fantastic job on this interview. Do you want to thank any of your sponsors? I know you got a couple of them in, but before we thank all the show sponsors?
Yeah. Let me. I think I touched on everybody.
Oh, here we go. Yeah, he's showing some of these trucks and stuff for the Icelandic off-road. I'm going to check out. Thanks, John, for doing that. I'm going to check out some of these things. Oh, it looks like both of them, David and John, sent over some of these videos. So if you guys want, if you're listening on the audio versions on iTunes or Spotify or any of those networks, please go over to our Facebook page and check out some of these links that some of the audience members have posted, and we can check out some of this Iceland racing too.
Yeah, so I do want to mention a couple of new sponsors for this year, which is Motul Lubricants.
Oh, right on.
Yeah, and they're very well known, and they've got really good products, so that's exciting. And then Northern Chill. This is a natural alkaline spring water from actually pretty close to Crandon.
Yeah.
The Northwoods of Wisconsin.
It tastes really good. And, I actually have had some good conversations with Leah over at Northern Chill as well. So thank you, Leah, for doing this. Shout out to Leah.
Yeah, definitely try it and pick up a couple
It
of
does
cases.
taste good. Like I was drinking whatever bottle I got at the gas station earlier, and this shit's way better.
Well, alkalinity, that's something that I've been very into for several years, and it's basically it's just about balancing out because most of the stuff that we drink is a little bit, or not drink. Most of the stuff that we consume is acidic,
Right.
and your body has to be in balance of 7.2 or 7.4 on the.
Right.
So all this does is
On
like
the
you don't have
pH.
to change anything about your diet or anything, but if you just at least drink alkaline water,
It raises your pH level, yeah.
then you're balancing some of that, some of the basically the lopsided acidity that we consume, and so it's just helping your body out. It's not magic. It's just balancing act. That's all it is.
Dude, I can't wait to talk with you one of these days at lunch because, even drinking a soda dehydrates you so much, and nobody knows that kind of stuff. Like, it's crazy. You got other people on the list too?
I think I touched on the other ones.
Man, it's cool to see that so many people are behind all of the projects that you're doing. And I mean, you met most of these people, right, racing, right? And you build up your name in racing. But when we live in 2020 and 2019, it's just crazy years. All of these new things that you're trying to do, and Travis Pastrana is a good person to look at. He was a professional racer, and now he does different things that are, wowing the world, I guess you could say, right? And you're doing the same thing, man. So it's cool to see all those people get on board with you.
Yep. Yeah. I kind of, that's what when Travis did the double backflip, like for the first time.
Yep.
How mind blowing was that?
Oh my God.
The roll out of that. Unbelievable. And he nailed that thing. Like, it was so perfect when he first did it too.
He's like a superhuman being though. And I kind of feel like you are in the same way, in the same sense, man. It's cool to see that there's humans like that pushing the envelope.
Yes. I feel like the double barrel is going to be the same way. Like, it's, the single barrel obviously was exciting, and it hasn't been replicated a true 360 degree. But now you go to do a 720. I mean, that's just it's ridiculous.
I would love to be able to see and understand this. You're a little bit more of a private person. You just want to go out and execute these things. But I would like to see, maybe we can poll some of the audience on social media and things like that. Maybe send a couple messages over to @TheDirtLifeShow on whether you would like to see Adrian be a little bit more open about maybe some of the research and development and trying to execute some of these projects. Maybe the double barrel roll would be a good one for us to cover since it has to do with dirt. And maybe we can help him out and promote it a little bit and show you guys a little bit more of the behind-the-scenes stuff that goes into it, because I think it would be really cool for people to see, similar to what Travis does at his facility up there in Maryland.
Yeah. I'm not as good about, I guess, marketing and publicizing the some of the mind-blowing stuff, but I am pretty confident that the things that we're working on, I think, are actually
Doable.
Bigger.
Yeah.
Like, to me, like that free fall project or the double barrel. I mean, I think it's easier to do a double backflip than it is to do a double barrel, to be honest. But that's just my perspective. Obviously.
The access point is so much different, man. And I couldn't agree more. I mean, like, we could talk about all these things for days. But I do appreciate that you're opening up and trying to get out there a little bit more and share some of these rad things that you're doing. So let us know what you guys want to. Here we go. Yeah, John's already saying, oh, man, behind the scenes of that planning process and research that goes into all those things would be awesome. Well, we'll try to see if maybe we could get Adrian to let us in and do some of that stuff. All right, so I just want to thank all of you guys for watching. You guys did an amazing job asking questions and joining us tonight. We really want you guys to join us on social media and go over there and follow. I know you have Wildman Cenni on Instagram, but what was the you have Cenni Racing?
Cenni Racing, yeah.
Yeah, Cenni Racing. So we tagged him in a couple stories and a couple of our posts. So please go and give him a follow and watch all the fantastic stuff that he's doing.
And go to my OnlyFans site too.
Go check out his OnlyFans. He's changing the game for OnlyFans too. He's not taking off clothes. He's putting on a rubber outfit or a rubber ball, and he's going to fall out of the sky.
Or something.
Yeah. Okay. Oh man, this show's going to go in a way different direction if we keep on that. So, well, thank you very much, Adrian, for joining us. We really appreciate you guys. Like I said, again, communicate through social media. That's the best bet. And we've had getting so many messages. I mean, our numbers have tripled, quadrupled in the last couple months here. It's been such a well-received understanding in my part. Coming to California, having all these fantastic guests and having stories like Adrian's has just been so incredibly awesome that you guys are loving this. So we really appreciate you guys. We want to hear all the positive messages. We want to hear who you want us to interview, and we want to hear all of the questions for those people. So please give a shout out to all of our sponsors too. You can use the code DIRTLIFE with the guys over at Shock Therapy at shocktherapist.com. You can use the code DIRTLIFE at ZollingerRacingProducts.com to order some parts from the Zollinger Racing boys. You can use the code DIRTLIFE at solderweld.com to get some solder weld off-road repair kits. Thank you very much to the guys over at CryoHeat, and always a huge, huge thank you to the guys at KMC Wheels and EFX Tires. They have been on board with us since day one, so we couldn't appreciate them anymore, man. We have such awesome guests lined up next week. Like I said before at the beginning of the show, we got the boys from Dune and Destroy going to come on. So we're going to talk about, maybe I'll tell them that you want to take a Pro 4 to the Dunes and see what they think about that.
Okay.
So, yeah, it'll be fun to talk with. I think John and Kyle are going to be in the studio up in Lake Elsinore. So please hang out. Again, thank you very much, Adrian Cenni. We really appreciate you coming and hanging out.
Thanks, George.
And thank you guys all for watching. We will see you guys next week.
Thank you, guys.
Good night.
Thanks for listening to The Dirt Life Show.